just taking a video of us.
We just had a standoff and everything. That's him.
This is our second encounter with the police today.
Right now, an investigation is underway in New Mexico at the sprawling property once owned by Jeffrey Epstein.
We know that the FBI received a tip in 2019 that there may have been bodies buried at the ranch. Bodies of girls who were strangulated during fetish sex. This was never investigated, and in fact, when the New Mexico Attorney General wanted to investigate, the federal government said stand down.
And Epstein owned properties all over the United States and in France. All of them were searched during various investigations, save one, his Zorro Ranch in New Mexico.
Why hasn't an investigation been done into New Mexico? That's a little unclear to me.
Several civil suits accuse Epstein of sexually assaulting girls at Zorro Ranch, locally known as the Playboy Ranch.
The fact of the matter was that he was basically doing anything he wanted in this state without any accountability whatsoever. And the ranch is basically on a 2-lane highway in the middle of nowhere that we know very little, if nothing, about.
A new twist in a case involving sex, money, and billionaire investor Jeffrey Epstein.
It was 3 decades ago when financier Jeffrey Epstein purchased land and built a mansion in rural Santa Fe County.
As time went on, the Zorro Ranch estate would become a destination for celebrities, political heavyweights, and royalty. But it was also where girls were sexually assaulted.
Security cameras watching every direction, no trespassing signs, and armed guards.
New Mexico is known as the land of enchantment, but right here, hidden in plain sight, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell built something very different, a house of horrors.
We watched as investigators searched the property.
You can see all the units from the New Mexico Attorney General's office surrounding the mansion down there.
Millions of files already released as part of the Epstein Transparency Act. Secrets being revealed. In one account, another survivor says Epstein fondled her genitals on the ranch and she was only 16. She also said he snuck into the room she was staying in and raped her twice. In another account, Epstein allegedly did and groped a girl while she was giving him a massage. The survivor also just when the abuse allegedly occurred.
Outside of the gates of Jeffrey Epstein's infamous Zorro Ranch near Stanley, New Mexico, hundreds of protesters gathered together demanding justice.
I can't imagine what they had to endure.
Because we are here to say our voices will be heard and we will be heard.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
Claims bodies are buried near Epstein's Zorro Ranch.
I'm going to keep asking questions and keep poking around until I get an answer. I think that New Mexicans need answers. I think the victims need answers.
Jeffrey Epstein had ties with very powerful people around the globe, including movie stars, politicians, even royalty. But how deep did his connections go here in New Mexico? And just who knew what was happening right here in our backyard?
It's the first time law enforcement has gone to this place to investigate these crimes. The Department of Justice was still guarding the ranch gates.
The real sad part of it is that if that did happen, they have all of the acreage they need to find a place for these bodies. It's a big ranch, dude.
Heading out to Zorro Ranch, you have to, show out the window real quick. Look at where we are, guys. Look at this shit. There's nothing around here. To my left, it's complete barren desert. There's nothing behind us. We still have 15 miles to head out into this nothingness. I think it's very, very important to point this out because as a lot of people have said, first of all, think of the crimes you could get away with way the out here. But also, if you're a victim and you're trying to escape and you manage to get off the ranch, and maybe it's the middle of the night, we haven't seen a car hasn't passed us in 20, 30 minutes? It's like, you're gonna be so far out in the middle of nowhere, there's nowhere to run to for help. You read about Zorro Ranch and you see the aerial pictures of the ranch, but coming out here, it's like, wow, this place is really out in the middle of nowhere. To me, that speaks a lot to the crimes and the choice of location. I just never pictured that it would be out like this. I thought it was decently close to civilization. And we still got 13 miles to go. It's crazy. So we've recently met with our contact who we're speaking with, who knows anything and everything about Zorro Ranch. We met with her in the town of Stanley, which is a few miles down the road. right now we are approaching Zoro, which is crazy. I want to say that that's the goddamn ranch house right there, dude, because that's the village. And I'm pretty sure this is all Zoro to our left. But we're about to stop and interview her. This is fucking insane, dude. And look at how much land this is. Think how many things could be buried or hidden out there. And then you also want to talk about Epstein potentially having some sort of underground setup here. The land goes up, so it's actually a hill right here. You're going up to the ranch house. So, I mean, you could have obviously underground anywhere, but it's interesting that it's elevated. So this is just a little spooky. Fucking crazy, man.
The devil himself said, I'm going to exchange some dollars for your child's life.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question. Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Today, we're going to Zorro Ranch, which is crazy to think about. And in the world, in the last week or so, they have started I don't know if they've officially started or not or what, but they've begun the investigation into Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, which is crazy that they're actually doing that. I never thought they would, but I figured before we go out there, we should take a look at a few of the documents that are just really crazy dealing with Zorro Ranch. So I got my laptop right here. But you're not as familiar with Zorro Ranch, so you don't really know
not at all
that much about it.
I know more about the island than I do the ranch.
Well, the ranch is it's more evil than the island. I would say the ranch is like where the key to Epstein would be right now. So this is an email. I talked about this in a video already. So this person, here's the EFTA number. This person says, this is sensitive, so it will be the first and last email depending on your discretion. You can choose to take it or trash it, but this comes from a person who has been there and seen it all as a former staff at the Zorro. The material below was taken from Jeffrey Epstein's home as my insurance in case of future litigation against Epstein. What is damning about Jeffrey Epstein is yet to be written. Did you know somewhere in the hills outside the Zorro, 2 foreign girls were buried on orders of Jeffrey and Madam G? Both died by strangulation during rough fetish sex. This person claims that they took Epstein's blackmail footage, and they said, here's the video footage of Epstein, and there's multiple links here. They're talking about girls, threesomes with Epstein and others, and they were saying they want a bounty on it, 1 Bitcoin, to send this stuff in. So we don't know what happened there. His name's Eddie Aragon. They obviously never looked in the hills for that, but it's just crazy. So many things. I mean, and there are also so many documents that we could go through that I haven't selected here. I mean, this just on the Epstein library. If you type in Zoro, you get 13,747 results. That's a lot of results to go through. But anyways, here's another interesting one. This is a tip to the FBI, which seems to have come from a New Mexico State police officer. Yeah, you can see right here. July 19th, 2019, retired New Mexico State police officer blank called the FBI National Threat Operations Center regarding information relating to Epstein. Blank lives in the neighborhood of a property owned by Jeffrey Epstein. The property, which is on the Zorro Ranch Road, Stanley, New Mexico, recently had a large barn constructed. The barn is suspicious as there is a garage door that appears to be a sally port, and there is a chimney. Blank is concerned the property could potentially have an incinerator concealed within the barn. An old 1970s mobile home was recently put right behind the barn, which Blank believes does not follow Santa Fe County regulations. There have been a lot of high-profile people seen frequenting the property. Blank has heard rumors that the property was used for recruited girls to visit with Epstein, but he has no factual evidence to support this claim. Blank heard rumors that girls from Albuquerque and the Moriarty area were recruited for Epstein. Blank patrolled this area for 15 years before he retired. The property was owned previously by the governor of New Mexico, but the property was sold to Epstein before the governor's passing.
He says there's a lot of securities for the properties, including SAMRAs, sally ports, other security measures. He says that the barn that was constructed doesn't look like a barn used for ranching, and he's reporting it because he believes evidence could be destroyed there. So Epstein could have had a fucking incinerator at the ranch too. This is a tip from a retired state police officer in New Mexico. What do you do with an incinerator? You burn stuff. What was he burning? If it was there. Was it papers, documents, evidence, bodies? You don't know. Pictures here too. Here's Prince Andrew with the housekeeper of Zorro Ranch. This is from one of the housekeeper's Facebook accounts. Here is one of the victims in unredacted pictures with Epstein on Zorro Ranch. You can see Epstein wearing the cowboy hat. This victim, I'm assuming she's a victim, on his lap. And then this one's interesting. Here's the EFTA number. There was an ambulance ordered to Zorro Ranch in 2016. There's the invoice here. $50,000 delivered to that location with an EMT instructor. So they actually owned an ambulance. Epstein owned an ambulance. Well, technically Richard Kahn right here, Epstein's main guy, owned it, but why do you need an ambulance at a ranch? I mean, why do you need one? Ford XLT F350 4x4 white with red stripe GSA Type 1 $39,900 wheeled coach modular ambulance paid in full, then delivered to Zorro Ranch with EMT. Then it comes with a one-person medical cot, 2 spine boards, MediPark 3-item, 100-pound oxygen tank to be filled, oxygen tank regulator, 2 oxygen quick connects, a Head Start defibrillator, MedStorm oxy kit. If you're at a ranch, why do you need an ambulance? It's so weird. There's even an airstrip there. I mean, they had ways to get around. But that obviously plays into the theory that Zorro Ranch held these secret medical facilities underground. That's what I think it was. I think Zorro at the top was, a house. But there's like suspiciously a lack of photos of the certain areas downstairs, and then I think it goes underground. A lot of people do. And there's tunnels and stuff. Here's another one. This is a tip in 2009 from internally within the FBI, which was forwarded to Mueller, the head of the FBI, from the Mueller report. He's a very, very infamous figure. You can see right here. I will also copy Director Mueller, so it was sent to him. It's just these little things that they found out about Epstein in 2009. One, Zorro Trust, belonging to Epstein, won an $80 million lottery ticket in New Mexico. That's true. Epstein's Zorro Trust won the lottery for $80 or so million. That's a recorded event that happened, which is like, what the f***? How? Zorro Ranch, belonging to Epstein, sits close to the U.S.-Mexican border where most trafficked children are routed prior to being dispersed to the East Coast. This is the FBI pointing that out. Several high-ranking officials and friends of Epstein have confirmed he has sexual relations with trafficked. High-ranking officials are saying this. Both Ghislaine Maxwell and Blank were served last week, 2 key witnesses on Epstein's camp. Thank you, Conchita. And then they're just casual. For what it's worth, here's the info. FYI, call me if you feel we should discuss this. But we know nothing ever happened. But I found that curious, the FBI officials confirming that he sleeps with trafficked. And yet there's apparently, according to them, no evidence of any trafficking. So I saw this document's really interesting. We'll go quick. This is the Zorro Ranch entrance. You can see the EFTA there. Check this out. The Z on Zorro has like a devil's pitchfork on it. It's kind of trippy. Look at this. It makes no sense. I don't know why there's a pitchfork there. I've seen a lot of people pointing that out.
That is weird.
But, that's what used to hang at the entrance to the Zorro Ranch. There's another email here. This one just states, this is another internal FBI email. They're just confirming, we'll review the status of the search warrant with respect to the island property, and we have not searched the New Mexico property. That's 2019. They never searched it. That's an internal FBI document right there. This email from Ronnie Carey to Jeff Epstein, 2009, subject, Kingdom of Zorro. Dear Jeff, now we know what it is like to be a member of the royal family, What a marvelous time we had, and your staff went above and beyond in all respects. As the king of the Zorro realm, we want you to know that ranch is far superior to the Hearst Castle which we just visited. So your loyal subjects extend to you our sincere thanks for a wonderful day. Love, Cousin Ronnie. Royal family, king of the Zorro realm. Here's another one, obviously, that I've talked about in the previous video. This is a tip from a victim. Blank spoke of this going on at Zorro Ranch. They're talking about baby farming. She has said on record that Epstein offered her money to do this, birth babies for black market use. It's going on at Zorro Ranch. It's a victim. This is an email, once again, I'm assuming between investigators, because this is 2020. Here's another picture of Epstein and some victim and a guy at Zorro Ranch. We don't know who that guy is. It might be Boris, Epstein's friend, but just unexplained. And there are tons of deeply disturbing Zorro Ranch documents. I mean, like, you can look at this too. This is like some of the ranch. Here, there's some pictures that survive. Like this party shower, which could accompany 8 people at a time. Shelves packed with oils. The underground indoor swimming pool. This huge crucifix cross that was hanging in the house. And there's a picture of what looks like a naked victim.
That looks like the exact one that we saw in Italy.
Yeah,
The first depiction of Jesus being like sad on the cross.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's huge too. I mean, this is clearly in a church at one point. In a hallway, and they noticed that tons of pillows, but no chairs or any couches in this photo. The downstairs, where there was allegedly a huge strip club, according to some people, underground, but there's no images of that area anywhere. Just general Epstein vibes. I mean, this looks like all of his other properties. He had pictures everywhere at all of his properties, tons of framed photos, tons of books, which I've stated, you know, he definitely didn't read. There's just so much you could go through. Epstein talking about these, I mean, people think that Epstein was doing all this science stuff at Zorro Ranch. Here's an email between him and a guy, an intellectual, I believe this dude's a scientist, Barnaby Marsh. Should we build a mind reader? They're talking about literally regeneration, cloning people. So this would assumably have been at Zorro Ranch, building a mind reader, human cloning. This handwritten note talking about cloning, burn victims, death. You can see 2007 to 2009. There's so much. I mean, there's so much you could go on and on about. Here's more pictures of Zorro, just kind of what the inside would have looked like. So lavish, all of his properties.
Yeah, where did all the money come from?
Yeah, right. But I guess what's really interesting, Virginia Jeffrey. Today, what we're going to be doing is going out to the property. We've got a telescope, binoculars, a drone. We're going to search some of the areas around Zorro, and we're meeting up with someone who's going to give us some intel. I have these points right here on my notes app that I found. The points of interest that I've seen people talking about online recently are this point right here with the underground entrance. People believe it looks like an entrance to a tunnel that could lead to something underground with Epstein at the ranch. So we're going to check that out and see what it is, because it's hard to make out on Google Maps. And then people have identified weird burial pits that they think could be a graveyard. So we're going to check that out as well. And there was a tip from someone online that said the ridge northwest of the main compound might be interesting because of that report about the 2 bodies, as it's most out of view and probably the least documented. So we're going to check those out as well. But without further ado,
let's hit the road.
Let's hit the road, Jack.
And hope we come back.
No.
I wonder if there's going to be I wonder if there's going to be any police presence out there with the investigation going on.
I doubt it. Maybe. But
well, we're about to see.
Yeah, I would be excited if I saw police out there. You know, for the one time I'd be excited for the police to see that they're actually investigating it. But
it wouldn't be police investigating it.
I don't know.
And I don't think they'd be doing much investigating necessarily either.
No, because they never searched it.
No, never searched it, and they'd probably just be cleaning up remnants of what was left behind. We gotta get there fast.
Yeah. All right. Cool, man.
And you know, all these years later, I've realized that there was very likely something going on underground there. You know, there's a lot more going on, and they've been trying to cover it up, as we all know. And thank goodness, you know, these files have been coming out, and there's more truth coming to light. It's horrible because it frightens a lot of people. I mean, the media aren't even putting it out there yet because I don't think they don't know how to do it, because it's going to literally break people's brains. You know, people who are very religious or very, like, you know, it's a very, very difficult thing for people to comprehend. And, you know, but I saw very weird things there. I also woke up in a laboratory in New Mexico with like 6 people in hazmat suits around me, and a female doctor came near my head. Like, I was basically like paralyzed and strapped to a table, and my eyes opened and I was freaked out. And then the female doctor came near me and she said, "Don't worry, everything's okay." And then suddenly I was out again. You know, also before I was sent home from there, Epstein gave me a pelvic exam, almost like a doctor would. So, you know, eventually I started to realize I think these bastards were taking our eggs. You know, and then with more and more research, you know, you realize there are movies like Westworld, series like Westworld. Apparently the ranch used to be called Westworld. You know, and also there's a little cowboy town on the ranch where Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton apparently used to stay. So, you know, it's just quite clear that there's been a huge cover-up here. And, I mean, also, even before Epstein was arrested, he ordered, like, gallons of sulfuric acid to the property. He also ordered, you know, tons of cement. He ordered carpet shredders, tile extractors. I mean, it's quite clear they were trying to hide something.
My focus and what I kind of really wanted to talk to you about is Zorro Ranch, because, well, I made videos about this like a long time ago, and I said, you know, I think that there's got to be bodies there, and I mean, they never searched the ranch. It's so insane to me. And now you've got all this talk in the media about Zorro, and yet it feels like we still know very little about it in the public. You know, like there's no floor plans, no blueprints, but obviously you've had some absolutely horrific experiences there. The moment you arrive there, what happens? Can you remember that sequence of events? Like, did you fly into the airport and then drive there, or how'd you get there?
Yeah. Well, I remember they flew me from South Africa to New Mexico. Okay.
Really? Directly? Wow.
Yeah. As far as I remember, it was direct. I might have gone through Texas or something. I'm not too sure of exactly. But I know that Epstein picked me up at the airport. And he was driving, which was very unusual as well. And then there were a few other girls that he had there at the time, like Nadia Monchenko, the blonde girl who became the pilot. That was the first time I met her. You know, and there were a couple of, you know, Sarah Killen, and, you know, the usual people. And then when we were actually driving from the airport, I said to him, "Hey, Jeffrey, have you ever seen any aliens? Because we're near Roswell, you know." Anyway, he was very annoyed when I asked him about aliens, because he said, "Yes, Juliet, they're little green men running around all over the place." He was like trying to shut me down, and because I asked him in front of people, because I was just sort of making a sort of casual joke. Because, you know, back in the day, we didn't realize like how serious all of this is. And, you know, it wasn't even a casual joke. I mean, I was just asking him out of interest, but he shut me down and he didn't like the question. And then we got there, and then, you know, like I said, I actually, like, a lot of that time, I actually don't really remember very well. I've got some photographs I took when I was there. I can share them if you want to share them on the interview. Because the one day he was out, and I went around and took some photos on this disposable camera I had. I felt like a bit naughty taking photos, because I never took photos with him around, you know. We weren't, like, allowed to just be free. We were very much being watched and monitored all the time. So, yeah, it freaks me out a lot. Some people say I should go for hypnosis, and I actually have gone to a therapist for hypnosis. But I don't know if I'll be able to go back there. It's just, you know, it was just very weird, and it's something, you know, I need to think about it more and I guess heal emotionally to try and figure out more. But I mean, I do remember a lot of the weird things that happened, but there's probably more.
So when you were at the ranch, there were other girls there, and were there like staff or I think, was that where you mentioned Michael Bay was? I can't remember.
Yeah, I met him in Michael Bay there. It was me and Tila Davies, another victim, and then the girl Nadia and Sarah Killen, and but Epstein was boasting that Michael Bay was there, and so I met Michael Bay in the kitchen. He again, I didn't see him around Epstein or anything. We just met him in the kitchen, and then off he went. And I don't know where he. And then Epstein got us to watch the movie The Rock that night. You know, the movie about Alcatraz with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. And then while they were watching the movie, I went outside to have a cigarette, and then that's when I saw the 3 lights, like a triangle, like very bright, and then they started spinning, and then they like veered off. Like I saw it for like 1 or 2 minutes. It was definitely a UFO of some kind. And then when I tried to get back in the house, I was actually locked out, and I was petrified. I couldn't get back in. So I went all the way around the house to try, because they were watching the movie all the way around the other side, and I eventually got someone's attention, but I was locked out there for about 20 minutes. And I'm pretty sure that this is when the whole laboratory incident sort of happened, because it was just, it's just hard to put a time and place on it all, because it was just so confusing. And obviously by that time I was also a mess, after being in this man's control, and, it really, really buggered me up big time. So I just know that something more went on, and I've been speaking about this for years, and people thought I was crazy, or I've had some amazing people who've believed me and been helping, but a lot of people didn't believe it. But now with all the files coming out, I think people are seeing that truth is often stranger than fiction.
So the UFO is so interesting. So you saw one near the ranch, and to describe it one more time, it was like just a triangle that was moving?
Yeah, it was like 3 triangle lights, and then they started spinning, but like in unison. So it must have been one craft, but it would have been very big, if it was one craft. And also, if you think about it, outside the New Mexico ranch, there's that whole area that almost looks like a UFO landing pad. And I definitely saw it. It was definitely there. But I wish I had more answers, and I think, slowly but surely more and more answers will come out.
We've talked about energy here. Obviously, being in the paranormal, I'm a huge believer in energy and how locations can hold on to and trap that energy. And I'm really curious, first of all, what was the energy at Zorro Ranch like just from a vibe perspective? Like, how did it feel?
It was always very weird. There was sort of an electric weird energy. Even being around Epstein, one felt like a scared mouse around a snake. It wasn't like meeting a normal person. There are even people who say that when they met him, this hairs on their neck stood up, sort of thing. Where it's gave you the heebie-jeebies. And it was like that at all those properties. It was just a very, very weird energy, and wasn't at all relaxing. We weren't allowed to sort of cruise around or look at things. It was, and also being a young person, it was just very, very weird. And everything that's coming out now, it's quite clear that there was a lot more going on at these properties.
And what was the decorating like at Zorro Ranch? Because I found an email that was talking about how they wanted a painting of the massacre of the innocents, the painting of the Bible story where the babies are being slaughtered. It's to me, that's such a strange thing to have hanging. I can't remember who describes it, but in the entryway.
He had a crucifix artwork of Jesus. It was 7 foot tall, life size. I've got a picture of it that I took, and I'll share it with you. Because everything was very expensive there. Everything was adorned in gold, whatever it is, and there were these expensive artworks, and it was very creepy, almost like a museum. The New Mexico and New York were both sort of museums, and then Palm Beach and the island were more sort of basic. You know what I mean? And that's actually a good question what you ask, because I've never really put it like that. And Paris was also a more expensive sort of property, but again, I didn't see the whole thing. Even with the ranch, I didn't get to see the whole property. And in New York, I also didn't see the whole property. I was basically told to go to this room, and then the one night I actually opened the window and crawled out to have a cigarette. And the next day, Epstein's security came to me out of a room, and he said, did I open the window last night because they saw a change in temperature regulations? And I was like, no, because I didn't want them to know I had a cigarette. I obviously never lie, but I don't want to get in trouble. And then We went into the room and he showed me that they had like a whole wall just full of TV screens, like 40 TV screens looking at everything. And he just said to me, just so you know, everything's being watched. Because I think obviously when I climbed out of the window, they probably got a security alert thinking that maybe someone was climbing in through the middle of the mansion to attack Epstein or something. You know, that's another weird thing, is that in the middle of that mansion, there's nothing. It's hollow in the middle. And then you look down, there's a big gold dome over what I'm assuming is his bedroom at the bottom. It was very creepy. And then they've also got like a sort of gold dome on the island. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot more going on. But, you know, it's quite clear that there have been a lot of lies going on here. And yeah, so those were interesting questions you asked about the properties because they were all so different. It was like, you know, usually like if you had 5 houses, you know, they're going to be sort of similar, right? If you're traveling from house to house, it's going to be similar sort of style. But, you know, and most people don't have 5 houses like that. And also, like, the New Mexico and New York properties were the biggest in the place. I think the New York property might be one of the most expensive in New York. I'm not too sure on that, but I know that the New Mexico mansion is apparently one of the biggest properties in New Mexico. So it's just very suspicious, all of it.
Do not forget to like the video. Please comment on the video. Tell me your thoughts on Zorro Ranch. Commenting and liking is incredibly important to show YouTube that people are watching the video and engaging with it so that more people can see it. So please make sure to like and comment. And also, post a story of you watching this episode on your social media and tag me at the Paranormal Files. I would love to see you guys. Talk about the show on TikTok if you can. Talk about it on Facebook. Share a link on Facebook. Just help me to blast this out because we're doing this all completely self-supported. It really helps and it really matters, and I'm so appreciative. Anyways, let's get into this. Halfway between Santa Fe and Albuquerque, New Mexico, a 21,000 square foot mansion sits high on a mesa. It commands a view unlike many others, presiding over nearly 10,000 acres of desert land. The landscape of the New Mexico desert is one of beauty, a mixture of Chihuahuan desert basins and ranges, Colorado mesas and canyons, and Great Plains grasslands. Looking at aerial photos of the property, one can see vast scrublands stretching out as far as the eye can see, with mountains rising in the background as pale gray shadows. This sounds like an ideal getaway, especially for those who prefer to stay private. Encircled by thousands of acres of land, it would be difficult for anyone to make the walk through the arid desert and reach the main compound high on its mesa. Moreover, a private hangar would allow aircraft to transport secret guests directly onto the property, eliminating the need for open travel on nearby highways. Doubtless, this is what Jeffrey Epstein thought when he purchased the property in the early 1990s. The land that comprises Zorro Ranch actually has a storied past of its own, stretching back to the Spanish colonial era. The property was part of a larger land grant at that time, and over the centuries, it changed hands continuously. Located near the town of Stanley, the land was mostly used for agricultural purposes, such as ranching, as its name implies. It would be all too easy to imagine horses, cattle, and other livestock roaming those flat plains, and yet Epstein's plans included nothing of the sort. Zorro Ranch would grow from its humble beginnings to include amenities, such as a full firehouse, a log cabin, an airstrip, a guest house, a pool, and strangely, a set of train tracks with an antique railroad car. The property was designed to accommodate large gatherings, as evidenced by several houses on the grounds where guests could stay overnight. The location even had its own Wild West-style village, power grid, and private wells, making the ranch more of a small town rather than just a homestead. Valued at $12 million, Epstein purchased the property from the family of New Mexico Governor Bruce King in 1993. Now, Epstein had a habit of purchasing land under alternate names, it seems, as the ranch was actually bought under the name Zorro Trust, which later became Cypress Inc. or Incorporated. Epstein performed a similar purchase under the shell company LSJ LLC when he bought his private island, Little St. James, in 1998. A news story would be written about the ranch 5 years later, saying that the financier, Epstein, planned to build a sprawling mansion on the property. That home itself would be 26,700 square feet with a 2,100 square foot living room. In other words, Epstein's living room would be as large as the average American home. That's the type of money, wealth, and power we're talking about here. A living room in this property, the size of somebody's entire home. Only God knows what secrets are hidden out there. The ranch would even have its own brand, consisting of a J and E joined together, kind of like a cattle brand, if you know what I'm talking about. The property is only one of 5 that Epstein was known to own at the end of his life. Epstein had property in New York City, West Palm Beach, the U.S. Virgin Islands, France, And yes, New Mexico. The land accounted for roughly $17 million of Epstein's massive $577 million estate. The property seemed to be designed to ensure as much privacy as possible after his grand construction plan was completed, with security cameras monitoring every inch of ground, well-secured gates, tall fences, and tight-lipped employees who appeared to be sworn to secrecy. And for the most disturbing of reasons, most everybody knows at this point that Jeffrey Epstein was at the head of a massive, and I'm assuming that's why he had to keep things very quiet. It's believed that Zorro Ranch was, among many other disturbing rumors, one of the locations where underage girls were held against their will and forced to perform on the rich and powerful, possibly for Epstein to use later as blackmail against them. It could be possible that Epstein chose, or even potentially was given, Zorro Ranch for this exact purpose. But if this were true, why did we never hear of any women trying to escape from the ranch? Looking at the landscape, it is something of an Alcatraz in its own way. The ranch was surrounded by miles and miles of empty desert. In the heat of daytime, it was a death sentence to try and traverse this land alone. And in the middle of the night, it was miles of pitch black travel in an unknown land. Not to mention that deadly rattlesnakes litter the landscape. I've been out to Zorro Ranch and I filmed an episode there recently, and I have to tell you, it is incredibly desolate. You go out there, I mean, I couldn't believe, we're driving through the mountains, zooming through the New Mexican wilderness. There's no town, there's no building, there are no cars around us. We're just out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm thinking to myself, Zorro Ranch is right here? And then all of a sudden you kind of come up over a hill and it's like, boom, there's the ranch right to your right. And it really is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the nearest town is miles and miles away. So if you were to escape, you would have had such a long walk in the pitch black darkness. It's just not feasible. I mean, and to be out there, that's when you really kind of understand. That's when things clicked for me. And I saw like, wow, this place really is out there. Any young woman would have had to walk over 9 miles through the desert to reach the nearest town, and that's if she managed to go in the correct direction. The other way, I know from experience, it leads only to mountains and wilderness. And even when a potential victim may have reached the nearest town of Stanley, the victim wouldn't find a bustling city to hide in. Stanley's population is, at its max, only 108 people, and there isn't even a gas station in that town. I found that out from first-hand experience. There's no gas station in Stanley. You're out of luck if you run out of gas or fuel in that area. In other words, there was nowhere for these young women to hide, even if they managed to get off the grounds of Epstein's desert fortress, which was already an impossible seeming challenge with its cameras and security detail. It's said that Epstein had what amounted to a small army of security on the grounds, and he meticulously controlled every inch of land. He wanted to ensure, it seems, that no one got in or out. But how could this be possible? Epstein, after all, after being convicted in 2008, should have been closely monitored. I mean, this guy was dangerous. The man never should have been able to create such a fortress, or at least inhabit a fortress like this, but it seems that even the state itself seemed to have no access to Zorro Ranch. Interestingly, New Mexico officials claim that Epstein was so secretive about his desert getaway that they had, quote, virtually no access and little knowledge about what happens on the public portions, end quote. This is where Epstein's land grants come in, the grazing leases that have been the focal point of much of the ranch's scrutiny. The land grants that secured over 1,000 extra acres for Epstein's use were purchased in the same year as the ranch itself from the state land office. Yet, somehow, the government of New Mexico never noticed that the land wasn't being used for its proper purpose. Land grants such as those on Zorro Ranch are typically used for the sustainment of livestock. So you're granted these land grants, you purchase them, you buy in so that you can have this land to raise livestock, cows, chickens, whatever. But Epstein didn't own livestock. He didn't own any. And you'd think that that would be a problem for the government with such a huge purchase being made. Though there was a stable on the grounds, along with small saddles within some of the buildings, there were no animals on Zorro Ranch for those saddles to be used on, and none to make use of the massive acreage leased to Epstein. Now, one would think that the state would pay extra attention to the man, especially after rumors of his operation began way back in 1996, only 3 years after he took charge of Zorro Ranch. It is, after all, the US government's duty to ensure that those leases were being used properly, but Epstein wouldn't allow them to do so. This is similar to his refusal to allow government agencies to perform regular inspections on his island, Little St. James. Now, Epstein wouldn't be convicted of any crimes until his 2008 case in Florida, yet when his prison term ended, more failures were noted on behalf of New Mexico's government that defy belief. Not only did the state land office continue to lease him the extra acreage, but even though he resided in the state and owned property, Epstein was not required to register as a in New Mexico. I mean, he owns one of the largest ranches and properties in all of New Mexico, and he's a resident. He lives there, or at least is there a third of the year, however long a fourth of the year, and he doesn't have to register as a in the state. Some actually believe Epstein chose specifically to live in New Mexico because the state had a so-called reputation at the time for not asking any questions. The age of consent there was also very low at the time. I believe it was only 16, but don't quote me on that. New Mexico lawyer John W. Day stated as much, saying that the, quote, vast empty landscapes, end quote, of the state allow illegal activities to occur unseen. This is a pretty isolated state in general, he said. It's a low population, huge geographic area, and people tend not to think of it as one of the 50 states. Yet, others think it was because Epstein had political connections in the state, connections that could assure his behavior could go unpunished. Chapter 2, an open-handed friend or bribes. There are many questions about why Epstein chose to reside in New Mexico, and scrutiny focuses on some of Epstein's state affiliations. Documents would later reveal that former state governor Bill Richardson was a visitor to Zorro Ranch on at least one occasion. And victim Virginia Giuffre would also allege that former state governor Bill Richardson, of course, denied those claims and has claimed publicly he's never met Virginia. Bill Richardson was apparently closer to Epstein, though, than he would like to admit. Already known to have visited the ranch, Richardson received at least $50,000 from Epstein in his 2006 gubernatorial campaign. Did Epstein simply have a passion for state politics, or was this something more, a bribe meant to create a bridge to create a friendship? Richardson wasn't the only politician benefiting from Epstein's open wallet, however. There was also former Governor Bruce King's son, Gary King, who was the state attorney general from the year 2007 to 2015. Gary received $15,000 from Jeffrey Epstein during his first run for the seat in 2006. After this, he received $35,000 in 2014, funneled through Epstein's many different firms. So there you've got two financial ties, two financial entanglements with two different governors of New Mexico. Epstein is linked to both of them, so that's a lot of political power. King and Richardson, though, are only two of many. As you'll see soon, numerous politicians and local figures received donations from Epstein, and I'm assuming that bought Epstein some favor. Next to his political philanthropy, Epstein also made a $50,000 donation to the University of Arizona in 2017, funneled through his foundation, Gratitude America Limited. Though this money was said to be designated for a Science of Consciousness conference that same year, others have asked questions about why Epstein would choose this university in particular, and why he would suddenly throw $50,000 into their wallet. The university claimed that they had no idea Epstein was connected to the foundation, yet they do not plan to return their donations, as so many others have and did. What could this ill-gotten money have been for? Many think it was bribes, placed into the hands of powerful institutions or figures, allowing Epstein to either play the role of benevolent philanthropist or silence the actors in his disturbing play. So did Epstein only purchase the ranch because it was a stunning location, or was it conveniently located in a place where he already had local politicians and institutions in his pocket? One politician, a name that often goes under the radar in the case of Epstein, may be the answer. Rumor says that Epstein purchased Zorro Ranch from former Governor Bruce King for significantly less than its valuation. And even more significant, the land had reportedly been in the King family for generations. But how could this be possible? Why would a state legislator suddenly give up thousands of acres of family land, historic family land, at an extreme loss to a completely random financier who had no ties to the government, it seems, who was just some random Joe Schmo finance guy? Why would he give up his family land, his heritage, and take a massive financial loss? Well, Governor Bruce King, it seems, was a good friend of Epstein's. The two men had a relationship that spans back many years, and Epstein was a common donor to his political campaigns. Yet, this is far from the only connection the two shared. Damning evidence shows that multiple members of the King family appear in Epstein's infamous Little Black Book of Contacts, but Bruce King's name itself appears somewhere far more damaging, on Epstein's flight logs. Bruce King passed away in 2009, placing his death 9 years before Epstein's downfall, but records of their close relationship have long outlived him. Bruce King and Epstein seem to share a uniquely close bond. Not only did King sell land to Epstein that had been in his family for generations, but apparently he wished for them to be neighbors as well. King owned tens of thousands of acres in New Mexico, and it's likely no coincidence that he chose to give his good old buddy Jeffrey Epstein the land that would become Zorro Ranch. Interestingly, Zorro Ranch was located in the dead center of many other thousands of acres of land that King and his family owned. Even more coincidentally, another member of the Black Book was Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor, Tom Ford, the famous fashion designer. Tom Ford owned the other parcel of land which surrounds Zorro Ranch, which helped to cut off the outside world entirely. And this, in effect, ensured that Epstein would never have a stranger for a neighbor. His only neighbors were people that he was friends with, like the King guy and the King family, and, bizarrely, Tom Ford. How crazy is that? Tom Ford's in the Black Book. Epstein obviously was in the fashion world, and he loved fashion and designers and being in those, in with those people and those crowds. So to have Tom Ford and your good buddy who sold you the land as neighbors, your silence has already been purchased. Because you see, strangers were dangerous for a man like Epstein. If the wrong person were to stop by for a friendly visit, his entire empire of filth could potentially have been unraveled. But could Epstein truly have been protected by a state governor? Some people don't think it's that unlikely. After all, Epstein was a friend to figures like former President Bill Clinton, current President Donald Trump, and former British Royal Prince Andrew. So what could Bruce King have been helping Epstein to hide, and what have victims said about Zorro Ranch? Chapter 3. The Victims' Claims. We know from first-hand accounts of the many victims of Jeffrey Epstein what occurred on his more infamous island, Little St. James. The activity that occurred on Zorro Ranch, however, is much more difficult to unravel. New Mexico criminal defense lawyer John W. Day believes that it would be foolish to think that the same activity from the island wasn't occurring on the ranch. For proof, we can look to the testimony of Maria Farmer and Ursula Rudenberg. In the summer of 1995, a group of recent graduates from the New York Academy of Art believed they had been given the opportunity of a lifetime. They had been chosen for an all-expenses-paid visit to New Mexico for the chance to study under the painter Eric Fish, attend the debut of the Site Santa Fe Biennial, and meet a wealthy benefactor who wished to purchase work from emerging artists. With them would be Eileen Guggenheim, the dean of students at the academy. The benefactor would be building a massive mansion in the state, and he wanted to commission one of these young artists to paint a mural on the grounds. This mysterious, wealthy patron, Jeffrey Epstein, joined at the time by co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. From the moment that this group of young artists stepped onto the grounds of Zorro Ranch, attendees Ursula Rudenberg, Maria Farmer, and her younger sister Annie were ill at ease. Farmer stated it was, quote, a huge scary ranch on this big ugly dry desert, end quote. As soon as they entered the ranch, the attendees were guided around the grounds as Epstein, strangely, continued to point out the numerous deadly rattlesnakes that lived on the land surrounding them. Upon entering the home on the property, which at the time was only a temporary trailer, Epstein and Maxwell told the students to hang up their coats in the closet. Opening the door, one of the students found a skeleton hanging inside of the closet. Right on the nose, skeleton in the closet. Crazy there. The students remarked that Maxwell seemed disappointed when none of the students were frightened by the skeleton, and as the day drew on, the couple seemed to continue to pull odd pranks on the students. The skeleton in the closet thing was a prank to scare the young girls. It seemed as though they were trying to make the students unstable, to put them off their guard. They reported more sinister behaviors as well, which tested their physical boundaries as well as their mental boundaries. For example, at dinner, Maxwell and Epstein told the students to close their eyes while they passed around a bag of mysterious objects. The students were told to reach inside and try to guess what they were. Rudenberg, talking about this, later stated, quote, one was what felt like pockets of jelly. It turned out to be falsies like you put in your bra. Then they demanded that we put them on, end quote. She refused, only to feel shunned for declining to play along with the sick party trick. She knew at that moment she would miss her chance at the commission, which could mean everything for her future. And that, of course, was Epstein's cruel game. Play along with my... and you'll be rich and famous and connected and taken care of, until you realize that your only reward, at the end of the day, was pain. Rudenberg stated, quote, I could see it was a question of, how far will they go? Does this person have boundaries? End quote. Maria Farmer, who would later work for Epstein in New York City, would say that this was a common party trick that he liked to play at dinner parties. Epstein would take items such as falsies and condoms, place them in a bag, and have guests try to figure out what they were with their eyes closed. Maxwell's role, Maria Farmer said, was to normalize the item and make the situation seem more lighthearted and almost funny, unserious. This was, Farmer said, quote, "So you never felt like you're going to be kidnapped and you just thought they were quirky and they love art," end quote. So where was the sort of chaperone for the trip, Eileen Guggenheim, in all of this? As the dean of students, she should have been there protecting the girls. However, Guggenheim seemed to go along with Epstein and Maxwell's jokes. Guggenheim, as it turns out, was friendly with Jeffrey Epstein, as he had been an academy trustee for 7 years by that time. Guggenheim even encouraged a relationship between Maria Farmer and Epstein, which would turn sour incredibly quickly. We're going to talk about that later. Guggenheim, of course, denies ever having been at the ranch, even though multiple anonymous alumni from the college have come out and corroborated Maria Farmer's story. According to Rudenberg, Guggenheim and Maxwell both treated her as if she were a square after she didn't play along with Epstein's bizarre bag game. As the day continued, Epstein dangled the carrot over the students' heads. He told them they had a chance to make a lot of money and get their name out in the art world, but Epstein never ended up buying any art from the students. Instead, Maria Farmer made 2 paintings for Epstein, neither of which he ended up paying for. One of the paintings that Epstein was given by Farmer pictures a slim young woman wearing only a leotard and stockings, and her second painting was similar. Paintings of young women with little to no clothing would later become, as we know if you've been watching my videos, a theme inside of Epstein's ranch and his other properties, according to those who worked there and visited. When Maria Farmer returned to New York City, Epstein suddenly made a random appearance. He had a job offer for her. He wanted her to be his art advisor. One of her first assignments was in Ohio. She was to work on a project for Epstein's well-known associate, Les Wexner, the billionaire businessman. While there, though, Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell revealed their true intentions to Maria. Isolated in Ohio, both adults trusted her. Yet, Maria was not the only one suffering. At around that same time, Maria states that her 16-year-old sister, Annie, was also invited to the New Mexico ranch, where she, too, was by Epstein and Maxwell. But this somehow is only the beginning. In April of 1996, an affidavit was filed that alleged that Epstein and Maxwell ordered a 15-year-old girl to, quote, take off all of her clothes and touched her inappropriately while on a massage table. Massages were obviously something of an MO for Epstein. He would pay to give him a massage, then once alone and unable to call for help, he would them. This was also testing the waters, breaking these victims and survivors down, starting off the process of by just pushing them full force through the door into this world. Between 2007 and 2010, another accuser stated that Epstein coerced the same young girl to engage in with him. But victim Virginia Giuffre had even more to say before her death. She implicated someone very important in Epstein's crimes within the ranch. Well, hold up one second before we move on to Virginia Giuffre. It also should be noted that in 1996, Maria Farmer actually reported to the FBI and to the authorities that not only had Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell her, but Maria Farmer also claimed that Epstein and Maxwell had been girls, that they had minors, and that they had been producing CSAM materials and distributing that stuff. That report was made to the FBI and then completely ignored. This was all the way back in 1996, and Maria Farmer had been talking about this for years, and then recently with the latest drop of Epstein files, that actual original report was released, so the world finally saw that she had made this report in 96, and Maria Farmer was essentially vindicated, finally, after decades. But back to Virginia Giuffre. You see, in a 2016 deposition, Giuffre stated that Epstein directed her to have with former governor of New Mexico, Bill Richardson. This is the same Bill Richardson who received $50,000 in campaign donations from Epstein. It would come to be believed that Epstein's ranch functioned, according to the victims, as sort of a central highway for his. At the ranch, underage girls were by the rich and powerful, commanded to do anything that Epstein ordered them to do. They would be flown to the ranch, isolated from the rest of the world, and lured in with false promises of wealth, notoriety, or fame. The environment and the behavior of Epstein and Maxwell was specifically designed to make the victims feel small, powerless, and to put them off their feet. They would test their boundaries until they found one that they believed they could continue to manipulate, then continue their isolation efforts until the women were under their control. After that, Epstein would begin to them. He would even tell victims that the experience was good for them, only adding to the psychological manipulation that they were forced to endure. The girls also suffered further pain. Some were ordered to recruit other women and children into Epstein's. Of course, all this pain was not without some modicum of reward. While you were in Epstein's, if you did all that he asked, you faced no consequences for any behavior. For example, victim Jane Doe, who has remained anonymous, stated in the past that on her first visit to the ranch, she recalled riding ATVs with another young woman. When Jane crashed her ATV, the other woman said she had no reason to worry, citing that, quote, "No one gets in trouble for anything here," end quote. They would get anything they wanted: admission into any school, training for any career, shopping trips, and world sightseeing, as long as they played along with Epstein's scheme. Victim Shantae Davies stated that she believed the operation was one of, quote, exploitation and manipulation of young women disguised as growth, apprenticeship, and education, end quote. The most disturbing portion of it all is that the was reported early on, only to earn no response. Like I just said, Maria Farmer reported her all the way back in 1996, yet nothing was done to give her justice. It was like they took down the report, immediately slid it into a filing cabinet and just locked it, and didn't look at it until 2026 or 25. If the government had listened to Maria's cries for help, unknown numbers of women and children could have been saved from Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But no one listened to them. I think it's because the FBI was in on it, just my opinion. But nonetheless, no one cared enough to do anything. Victims Shantae Davies, Jane Doe, and Virginie Gouffre gave sworn testimony that the abuse at the ranch included disgusting acts such as massages, photography, production of CSAM, and yes, but there was another use for the ranch, one more disturbing facet of its existence that plagues the mind of theorists like myself to this very day. There have been multiple survivors of Epstein's ranch who have testified about a goal that their captor spoke of openly and often, a goal so strange and disgusting that it almost defies belief. Jeffrey Epstein, and this has been reported on by mainstream media, this is the very tip of the iceberg, Epstein claimed before his death that he wanted to seed the human race with his DNA. He essentially wanted to make clones of himself, and he wanted to turn Zorro Ranch into a baby farm. Chapter 4. Seeding the Human Race, the Fertility Room, and Epstein's Scientists. If Zorro Ranch was truly the site of pure evil, why didn't any of the employees come forward? Not everyone could be as monstrous as the property's owner, right? Well, some of them actually did. Employees across the years have come forward to speak about what they saw, and one of them saw too much to continue to play a part in it. But unfortunately, when these people would come out, just like Maria Farmer, they could tell their story. Maybe it's in the news, maybe there's a police report generated, but nothing was ever done. Epstein and his network, it was too big, they were too powerful, they were too wealthy. There was no chance that anything was ever actually going to happen. But we need to talk about those claims, looking back at them, and comparing them with the context of what we know today based on the current Epstein Files release. A man who claimed to be a contractor for Jeffrey Epstein came forward recently about his experience working for the financier in the late 1990s. This contractor was one of the few people who was ever allowed to wander the grounds of Zorro Ranch unattended, someone who had nearly complete access to the entire ranch. While he was there, he said he discovered some of the truth about Epstein and made it his mission to take photographs of the mansion's inner secrets so that he could reveal them to the world. Images such as these are incredibly rare indeed. Very few pictures and videos exist of the mansion's interior, and those that do exist show little of interest. The contractor knew, though, after seeing some of Epstein's sick private world, that he had to do something. He had to raise the alarm. The contractor claimed to have seen many things while there, such as the basement pool room. The pool room was massive, containing not only a swimming pool, but a shower and bathtub as well. While he claimed that the bathtub was almost erected in a way to make it seem like an altar of some sort, the shower was enormous, which easily, according to him, would have fit many adults and children. I've seen reported that this shower was able to fit, I can't remember, 8 or 10 people. I mean, you just got to see the pictures. It's a massive shower. It's definitely some sort of an orgy shower where you're supposed to have multiple people in at the same time. And like in the recent case of Sean Diddy Combs, who we're going to be talking about soon, looking back at the case, there were bottles of lotion and baby oil, and just oil in general, everywhere. One of the most disturbing rooms that this contractor reported seeing, however, was something called the fertility room. This alleged fertility room was 1,000 square feet and covered from wall to wall in erotic imagery. The paintings, sconces, and even the crown molding were carved with scenes of passion and eroticism. The fertility room was also filled to the brim with some of it depicting between humans and animals and humans with children. This disturbingly named room wasn't the only area covered in imagery. However, Epstein's office was also allegedly rife with eroticism of the most depraved sort. While Epstein's office held pictures of him rubbing elbows with the rich and powerful, it also showed something else. In these pictures, Epstein and his wealthy buddies were seen standing arm in arm with underage girls and what looked to be children. The contractor said that while all of this was disturbing on its own, one event in 2006 was the final straw. Now, according to this guy, Epstein had left his computer unlocked in his office one day. Unable to resist the morbid curiosity, the contractor began snooping through it. He claimed to have seen something that no one can ever view and remain unchanged. Epstein was engaged with children right there on video before his very eyes. This was enough to turn anyone's stomach, but what he saw next was enough to chill him to the bone. He found a trove of more videos. Except this time, these videos had been recorded within the mansion itself, inside of rooms that he believed were unmonitored. These seemed to have been videos recorded with secret cameras or security cameras that people didn't realize were there. After seeing this, the contractor left the room and began to wander the grounds in search of these cameras. And to his amazement and his horror, he found the cameras everywhere. Not 1 inch of ground, according to this contractor, had been left unmonitored. Almost every single angle was captured in full by tiny hidden cameras tucked away throughout the property. Most people who know anything about Epstein's case know that he's also thought to have run a massive blackmail operation. I mean, that's just the truth. It's not what we think, what we don't think. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I know why the mainstream media won't talk about Epstein's blackmail operation, but that's what he was doing. So, I mean, you're going to hear this. I've talked about this a million times. You're going to hear it a million times more. That's just what was happening. It is believed by many that Epstein, after inviting the rich and powerful into his homes and domains, would coerce or offer them the opportunity to engage in with minors. Epstein would then secretly film those acts, then hold that information against these powerful people in exchange for favors. The contractor can even attest to this. He claims that he saw stacks of computers inside Epstein's office and believed that they were filled with stored material from all of these cameras. One could only guess the filth waiting inside of those hard drives. After seeing this, the contractor could no longer work for Epstein. Coming up with some excuse, he told Jeffrey that he would no longer be working for him. Epstein seemed congenial enough about the matter, but he gave the guy a strange invitation. He wanted the contractor, before he finally parted ways with Epstein, to come visit him on his island, Little St. James. Basically, he said, "All right, I know you don't want to work for me anymore. I know that this relationship is over, but one last hurrah. Come with me and come out to my island, Little St. James. We'll have a blast. There'll be booze or whatever. I mean, spend a few days on the beach, take a boat out, and then you can come back to New Mexico and carry on with your life. But one last hurrah, just you and me." The contractor declined Epstein's request, but he believes and states nowadays that if he had accepted Epstein's invitation, he would never have left the island. If he would have gone to the island, he would have never been seen again. Others who saw the ranch in person reported similar and more bizarre elements to the mansion. Stairs that no one could go down, doors that were sealed shut completely. Some even claimed that there was an underground strip club where were forced to dance naked. I've seen the underground strip club claims printed in mainstream media outlets like, I believe it was the Daily Mail or the Guardian, I can't remember where. People who visited the ranch even spoke of computer rooms, masses of monitoring equipment, basically like the rooms that we've seen photos of in Epstein's New York mansion, where there were floor-to-ceiling computers and wires and it looked like security setups. And of course, both victims and employees have spoken of underground tunnels and rooms beneath the mansion. Now, like I said, I was just at Zorro Ranch recently, and it's interesting. If you look at Zorro Ranch on like Google, for example, it looks like the ranch is like on flat land. You know, maybe it's on a little bit of a bump or a hill, but that's not the case actually. If you look at Zorro Ranch from where I was standing, it is up on a massive, I don't know if it's a mesa or what that's called, but a massive hill. So there's tons of actually area where they could have buried downwards into the land to create these tunnels or underground facilities. babies. You just have to look at a picture. And when I was there and I was looking at it myself, I just thought, wow, this is not how I pictured this in my mind, researching and reading about this place for so many years. I didn't expect it to look, like it did. But we have to talk about some of the other people involved too, because you see, the ranch was managed by a couple from New Zealand, Karen and Bryce Gordon. According to a local stripper, those two not only managed the ranch, but they also frequented the local strip club scene. The two of them, even without Epstein there, often hosted, she said, as well as recruited some of the local showgirls from Albuquerque and surrounding cities to work at Zorro Ranch. The Gordons once drove expensive cars and flashed stacks of cash to those who saw them in public, undoubtedly given to them by Epstein as bribes to keep their mouths shut. But now that Epstein's gone, the Gordons and other former employees of the ranch have begun to fear for their lives. No one knows what the Gordons witnessed or even aided in while at the ranch, but some say it is much darker than even the we already know Epstein is guilty of. So that's another thing. Why are they not interviewing these guys? Why are they not interviewing the couple that was allegedly having orgies and recruiting local strippers from the strip club scene to work at Epstein's ranch? Why are they not doing that? Why are they not investigating this? It makes no sense. It's just another one of those things where if you're really going to hit Epstein and really hit the investigation, go person by person, every single goddamn employee, and interview them all. It makes no sense to me that they don't interview these employees, especially these employees that are accused of having at Zorro Ranch, and local strippers are saying they were recruiting girls from our strip clubs. And to not interview, it's like the same thing with the island. You have rosters and lists of employees. To my knowledge, none of them were ever brought in for interviews. Maybe the Gordons or whatever their name was, maybe they were brought in for a brief interview, but they weren't putting any pressure on them. Even if they were, it was probably just like a formality thing. There's no way that they actually interrogated them with the belief at the time of the interrogation that these two were guilty, if that makes sense. But things get darker at Zorro Ranch. You see, according to the New York Times, Epstein himself confided to many scientists that Zorro Ranch was constructed for a very specific purpose, to be a baby farm. The claims state that Epstein told numerous people that, quote, he hoped to seed the human race with his DNA by impregnating women at his vast New Mexico ranch, end quote. Virginia Giuffre attested to that fact before her death. She stated that, while a victim of Epstein, he offered, quote, a mansion and money every month, a monthly allowance to bear one of his children. The proposition was that if anything ever happened between Jeffrey and I, that I would have to sign my child over to him, basically, and that the child would be his and Ghislaine's, and I would be looking after it as if nothing happened between Jeffrey and I, end quote. But why would Epstein want to seed the world with his DNA? Epstein claimed that he wanted a world of people who loved him and a world of geniuses. You can see he had quite the inflated ego. It was his goal, in his own words, to have 20 women at a time impregnated at his ranch. Now, this is not conspiracy. I was even attacked recently in the media for talking about the baby farm. It's not a conspiracy. This has been reported in mainstream media outlets that Epstein wanted this. He directly stated this. And there are tons of pieces of evidence that seem to corroborate these claims. We did that video recently about the baby farm here on the channel with the victim's diary, who was saying that as soon as her babies were born, they were taken away from her. She didn't know what happened to them. And she did it, or this happened to this victim allegedly multiple times. This is one victim out of, according to the FBI and DOJ, over 1,000. What about the other women? I actually know a survivor, and if you watch the channel and watch the videos here, we talked to her recently, Juliette Bryant, who claimed that she woke up in Zorro Ranch, and when she woke up, she was being sliced open by what seemed like a team of doctors and a female doctor, and Juliette claimed that it seemed like they were removing her eggs or harvesting her eggs. Regardless, she said that she was forced to endure some sort of medical procedure and, obviously had no choice. She was drugged and basically woke up and it was happening, and then woke up again and that was it. But there's a lot of this. I could even pull up other files from the Epstein files. There was one that I'm sharing in my documentary about Zorro that talks about people hearing that there's a baby farm at Zorro Ranch. Actually, let me just see if I can pull it up. Yeah, this is an email that says, blank spoke of this going on in Zorro Ranch. She has said on record that Epstein offered her money to do this, birth babies for black market use. This was an email sent in 2020, who's obviously talking about things that happened in Zorro Ranch. And there's a ton here. There's a ton of different files. There's also Zorro Ranch, there was an ambulance purchased, paid in full, that was at Zorro Ranch full time. There's a tip sheet from a person that's in law enforcement that claimed that they saw like a cremation area inside of a stable at Zorro Ranch, like a giant cremator or whatever it's called, crematorium with the huge smokestack. It's just a lot of weirdness. Anyways, back to the baby farm. Epstein believed in the field of pseudoscience called eugenics. In other words, he believed that through selective breeding of people with good traits, the world could be made a better place. It's known that Epstein wanted to create a sperm bank consisting of the sperm of Nobel Prize winners, and only Nobel Prize winners. Of course, he didn't get that idea all on his own. He got it from the creator of the Repository for Germinal Choice, Robert Clark Graham. Graham created the sperm bank in Escondido, California, and ran it for almost 20 years. However, the bank shut down in 1999. Graham had passed away 2 years earlier, and with him, much of the forward momentum of the sperm bank collapsed. Eugenics, of course, is a field of pseudoscience linked to the Nazi Party and is well known for its ableist and racist ideology. It's a horrific chapter in history, eugenics, and it's shocking that some people believe in it still. But when that sperm bank was shut down, the sperm inside of the bank was supposedly incinerated. Some think, however, that this could be far from the truth. You see, Zorro Ranch was in its heyday at around this time, and who better to take over Robert Clark Graham's work than one of his richest supporters? Epstein at this point was also at the height of his wishes to extend his generation. But would Epstein be interested in the sperm of others or only in his own? Victims of Epstein claim that his dinner parties at the ranch were mostly designed to screen candidates to bear his children. Other victims speak of something more drastic though. In some cases, it seems that Epstein didn't give prospective mothers a choice. While at the ranch, some victims and survivors have claimed they were taken while asleep to a room that they had never seen. And when they awoke, they found themselves in a completely sterile environment surrounded by medical equipment. Worse, they would often find that their legs were open. They believed that Epstein, in order to carry on his legacy, was stealing their eggs. This is, like I just said, this is what I was told by Juliet. She actually experienced this herself. The idea that was using his ranch to create a baby farm is in itself already abhorrent. And I know that it's a far out there theory, and I know that it doesn't make sense, and I know it sounds conspiratorial, but you have to look at the files. Like I said, there are reports of this happening. Epstein stated this is what he wanted. We have a victim's journal saying every time a baby of hers is born, it's cut out and snatched. We have this person saying they heard this was going on there. We have testimony from people like Juliet saying this is what happened to them there. We have so many people that have testified to this. The contractors seeing the fertility room, all the different bizarre things, the people who believe there's underground facilities or tunnels. And then you can go even further. You can talk about cloning. I'm doing a video about Epstein creating robot toddlers. I'm doing a video about Epstein being obsessed with cloning. There are so many mentions to cloning. Actually, let's just for the hell of it, let's just look up in the Epstein files. Let's just search the term cloning, all right? We've got 85 hits on cloning. How about clone? 222 results of clone. Now, it doesn't look like all these results are actually cloned, but I mean, when it comes to cloning, here's the thing: human cloning, dog cloning, cloning skin organs, process report for cloning, cloning issue, tissue regeneration cloning, adult human tissue cloning. I mean, Epstein was all over the cloning thing, so it's not a secret, and it's not like I'm making this up. There's historicity in these claims. They go back years, and it's been reported on by mainstream sources. So whether or not you personally want to believe it because it's so far out there, that doesn't matter. This is the truth. This is the reality. When it comes to Epstein, we have to start realizing that we're no longer at the threshold of lunacy and depravity. We were here before this last batch of files released. I mean, I was way over here, but most people were over here. But now we're miles on the other side because people understand none of this makes sense. None of this is normal. This is all really, really, really strange. But there's one last theory about the purpose of Zorro Ranch that we have to talk about. In 2001, an anonymous victim claims that while an art student, she was invited to Epstein's New York townhouse. They hung out there for a few hours before, of course, Epstein attempted to her. The victim fled in terror and hardly believed she managed to get out. She was surrounded by Epstein's employees and didn't think that any of them would let her escape. It took her a long time to be able to speak about the experience, years in fact, but that wasn't the only disconcerting part of her evening. Before the She recalls Epstein speaking about something he was doing in Mexico. The victim in this report states, quote, Epstein told me he had a place down in Mexico that was already working on cloning humans, end quote. Epstein didn't want to clone just anyone though. He was specifically interested in cloning himself. Epstein was known to be obsessed with the fringe science, and some think that this was due to his obsession with immortality. Epstein has been in the news before as he spoke openly about wanting to preserve himself with cryogenics. He wanted to, quote, freeze both of his heads, end quote, meaning his actual head and the head of his but that's a real quote. But cryogenics was not Epstein's main goal. It seems that he would do anything to extend his life and his influence, and figuring out how to clone humans was one of those methods. But is this only a rumor, or was Epstein really trying his hand at this questionable science? Well, on the 28th of October 2002, the New York Times published an exclusive interview with Jeffrey Epstein. At that time, he was somewhat of an international man of mystery. No one at the time knew how he had gotten all of his money, how he had managed to make such powerful friends, or how he had managed to get so wealthy so incredibly fast. Everyone wanted to read about Epstein, and the New York Times had the scoop. This article in specific detailed Epstein's interests in the field of science. As some collect butterflies, he collects beautiful minds. It read, but it is his covey of scientists that inspires Epstein's true rapture. Epstein spends $20 million a year on them, encouraging them to engage whatever kind of cutting-edge research might attract their fancy. They, of course, lavish praise on him in return. Gerald Edelman won the Nobel Prize for Physiology and Medicine in 1972 and now presides over the Neurosciences Institute in La Jolla, end quote. Edelman was quoted in the article as saying, quote, he came to see us recently. He is concerned with this basic question. Is it true that the brain is not a computer? He is very quick, end quote. Epstein himself was quoted in the article saying the following, quote, I invest in people, be it politics or science, it's what I do, end quote. How interesting that a man who wanted to learn to clone himself would befriend genius scientists, much less those in the field of physiology and medicine. But there's more that connects the story. Zorro Ranch isn't far away from two other shadowy organizations. There is Los Alamos Labs to the north, which was where the first nuclear bomb was constructed, and Sandia Labs to the south, which has its own rumors of conspiracy. If one were to draw a line connecting the three, it would practically create a near-perfect triangle, and this may not be a coincidence. Epstein visited Sandia Labs himself, and even at one point funded the lab with his own dark money. This may sound far-fetched or even impossible, but other baby farms have been found and exposed around the world, and cloning is indeed possible. I mean, we know that we can clone animals. It's happened. Epstein talks about this all the damn time in his things. He's funding people. I mean, we've still only seen half of the Epstein files. This is something he talked about openly and what he wanted to do, and he had all these scientists on retainer. He wanted to clone himself. He wanted to extend the Epstein lineage and seed the world's DNA, or seed the world's population with his DNA. Articles exist all over the web of celebrities cloning their pets, and in 2024, a healthy rhesus monkey was successfully cloned. Could Epstein have been a part of these successes? And was his lab with his many intelligent friends able to do it with Epstein's DNA? There was one crazy story that I can recall hearing. I can't remember what podcaster who told this story, but they said they had seen Epstein. They had seen two Epsteins. Like, they had seen a clone of Epstein at Zorro Ranch. I can't remember who said this. This was like a year and a half ago that I came across this clip and them talking about this, but it was basically a survivor who, kind of like Juliet, had woken up in kind of the underbelly, the alleged underbelly of Zorro Ranch, and they had seen two Epsteins at the same time, and that was taken as proof that Epstein had cloned himself. But I don't know, I mean, that would play into everything. Epstein being arrested, killed. What if it was a clone? I don't know what I believe in. I try to not endorse any theories ever, but the evidence is there with Epstein and cloning. I don't give a if you don't believe it. The truth doesn't care about how you feel about something. It's in the files. But the biggest question on everybody's mind at this point must be this: how could New Mexico have allowed all of this to occur? New Mexico's own lawmakers are now thinking the very same thing. The state has undoubtedly failed in their duty to protect their own people, and finally they're taking steps in the right direction. Chapter 5. The Truth Commission, New Mexico's new oversight. On the 22nd of February 1993, the shell company Zorro Trust was granted an agricultural land lease by the New Mexico State Land Office. The very same day, the shell company also completed the purchase of Zorro Ranch from the King family, including the rights to the family's leases on 1,159 acres of public lands. It was rented for only $872.22 a year, a payment that Epstein would need to manage to ensure his rights to the land were maintained. New Mexico Land Commissioner Stephanie Garcia Richards states that land grants such as these are often just, quote, a wealthy landowner's way of consolidating their holdings, end quote. Epstein managed to hold these public land leases for over 20 years, even while breaking several rules of the lease agreement. Epstein never used the land for agriculture, which is the singular only reason he should have been allowed to own them. He also blocked public officials. This is something that actually happened. Officials were stopped from entering this public land, from even stepping foot on the land to monitor them. And that's because there was a system. It was private land to public land. They couldn't get to the public land without crossing the private land. So it was just like, no, you can't come across my land. Sorry. So there's no way to access this. And these leases were allowed to be held until finally Commissioner Garcia Richard canceled them. New Mexico was under massive scrutiny for its role in the Epstein debacle. Had they treated Epstein with justice, the land would have been revoked long ago, and perhaps something would have been discovered about the ranch's dark secrets. Garcia called the land leases sweetheart deals, to which Epstein obviously was no stranger. He was used to the government giving him sweetheart deals. I mean, this is the exact terminology they used to describe what happened to Epstein in his original Florida case. But this was not the only way New Mexico failed in its duties. Epstein, after being convicted in 2008 of solicitation of under the age of, was not forced to register as a. They put him on the registry for only 2 days before mysteriously and suddenly removing his name again. Why? Well, New Mexico only requires someone to register as an offender if the victim was younger than 16, and Epstein's victim in Florida was. New Mexico is known for its weak registration laws, something that Epstein clearly took advantage of. He was quite literally exempted. But why wouldn't he be? The former governor, Bruce King, and the attorney general, Gary King, were both benefiting from Epstein being in their state. Why would they give him cause to leave? Moreover, Michelle Lujan Grisham, the current governor, served under the cabinets of both of those men. Epstein had also given $10,000 to Land Commissioner Jim Baca and $2,000 to Santa Fe County Sheriff Jim Solano in the past. Even after both kings were gone, Epstein still had powerful allies in New Mexico government. After Epstein's 2008 conviction, the land remained in his name. No one moved to cancel the leases, nor search the property, or reform the registry laws in the state. He was ignored entirely, a anomaly. There is more, however, a fact that seems to boggle the mind. After Epstein was caught and imprisoned, and after his suspicious, we're talking 2019 now, when Epstein is national news, you have dozens of victims coming forward, you have all these celebrities and politicians and world leaders being implicated, the FBI failed to properly search the ranch. I mean, this is one of the craziest things to me in the entirety of the Epstein thing. This one fact. You see, while federal agents from the FBI may have raided all of Epstein's other properties, Epstein's ranch was thoroughly ignored. New Mexico Attorney General Hector Balderas stated that his office gathered information from victims and seized documents, but said that, quote, their role was merely to refer evidence to federal prosecutors, end quote. Despite Epstein's victims giving detailed testimonies to the authorities dating all the way back to the 1990s, despite photographic evidence, and despite 400 or more pages of documents that proved that the leased land had been misused, no warrant to search Zorro Ranch was ever issued, and no state charges were ever filed. That means to this day, the FBI has never searched Zorro Ranch. We still do not have any real documentation relating to Zorro Ranch. We don't know if there are facilities underneath the ranch. We don't know if there are tunnels. We don't know if there are bodies buried on the ranch. We don't know if there's evidence buried on the ranch. We don't know if Epstein had a kill switch and he buried compromising material in the desert on the ranch. We don't know anything about anything when it comes to the ranch, because to this damn day, it has never been searched. Now, there was massive pushback over this decision when the public found out, and New Mexico faced enormous scrutiny. And it seems like finally in 2025, they decided to do something about it. In October of 2025, two of New Mexico's state Democratic lawmakers announced that they were working to establish a truth commission against the activities of Epstein in the state and all those who may have aided him in staying below the radar. It is all too easy to see how the state government failed its people, most of all the victims who faced horrors behind the walls of Zorro Ranch. Representatives Andrea Romero of Santa Fe and Mariana Anaya of Albuquerque have already previewed the process of establishing the commission and are working to put the story together for the public. So this script is actually a little old. The Truth Commission actually was started, and it started in February. So last month they had their first meeting in February, and apparently they are publicly dedicated to investigating what happened at Zorro Ranch. Now, a lot of people don't think that anything's going to really come of this. I am more on the optimistic side because now we've got state authorities doing all of this. So if they find credible evidence that somebody, whether it's a celebrity or a wealthy person or just an everyday Joe Schmo, if they find evidence that one of those people committed a crime against or an underage woman or even just a woman in general, because is bad no matter your age. It feels weird to have to say that, but there are some people who don't think it's as bad when you're older. I think it's bad no matter what age or gender. But if they uncover evidence of that, state authorities could prosecute those people and issue arrest warrants, because the federal authorities clearly have no interest in pursuing anything. But there could be, maybe if there are uncompromised, honest officials in New Mexico, they could pursue charges and they could lead a charge to do something about this. But there has been no search warrant issued for Zorro Ranch yet. I don't know why it's taking so long. It seems like the first day that they started this commission, they should have gone out there, but we're gonna have to see how this all plays out. But what could they uncover? Could New Mexico finally give a modicum of justice to those who either unwittingly or in full awareness aided Epstein in covering up his crimes? And could it go even deeper? Is there more to discover? What other darkness could be hiding beneath the sands of New Mexico's desert? Chapter 6, The Bodies in the Sand. One may not think Epstein could get any worse, nor the tale any more disturbing, but there's one final connection to be made in New Mexico, one that could turn Epstein into even more than the deranged leader of a... Now, I don't fully endorse this theory, and I don't believe personally in this theory, and we'll talk about it in a second, but there are a lot of people online who do believe in this theory, so I'm going to cover it here, even though I don't believe it's linked myself. I mean, it could be, but yeah, let's just cover this real quick. On the 2nd of February 2009, a woman was walking her dog on the outskirts of the housing development on the West Mesa in Albuquerque. The dog was happily walking along in the desert, enjoying the sun and the fresh air, when suddenly the dog seemed to go feral. It began to bark, growl, and scratch at the ground. When the owner tried to pull it away, it refused, attacking the soil furiously. It wasn't the average canine excitement. The dog was frantic. The owner, confused, allowed her dog free rein. She didn't understand what was going on, but her pet was after something. When the dog was allowed to begin digging, she waited. Nothing, though, could have prepared her for the shock of what she found within the hole. It was a human bone. Horrified, the woman contacted the police, and a massive excavation began soon after. Beneath many piles of disturbed dirt, the authorities found the remains of 12 bodies, buried between 2001 and 2005. The corpses were all female, varying in age, and the youngest was a baby, still in its mother's womb, where it had died. The only lead police had were the tire tracks present around the area, meaning someone had continuously visited, dumped the bodies, buried the bodies, and then left. This serial killing was strange, though. Unlike most, this murderer didn't want their victims to be found. They had actually planned out the disposal of these bodies quite carefully. The bodies were all buried about half a mile from the end of a suburb that was being built. The ground above the bodies had been padded at one point, meaning that the developers had planned to build atop them. If this had happened, these bones would have been hidden forever. The only reason the bodies were found was pure luck and a bad economy. In 2008, as the developers were only feet away from concealing these bones forever, the housing market burst. The development of the subdivision was halted, and this gave the neighborhood the chance to petition for a retention wall to be built, which would prevent flooding. This retention wall caused nearby water channels to flow in another direction, directly above the hidden bodies. Over time, the dirt that hid them was eroded, allowing a family dog to discover the secret someone had gone to such great lengths to conceal. Despite 2 decades of searching, the killer, dubbed the West Mesa Bone Collector, was never found. What does this have to do with Epstein, though? Well, Zorro Ranch was only about a 1-hour drive from the location and approximately a 20-minute flight. The victims all seemed to fit Epstein's primary demographic, women between the ages of 15 and 32, with the fetus only being about 4 months old. The victims were all involved in and were estranged from their families. In other words, sadly, when they went missing, no one started looking for them. Though it could be a coincidence, many wonder about the pregnant woman as well. Some have wondered if this is not one of Epstein's baby farm victims, one of the unfortunate souls chosen to carry on his generation. Now, that's a theory that a lot of people have. I don't find that to be necessarily plausible, but, you know, I mean, the West Mesa bone collector case has never been solved. I was actually out there as well. I was at the memorial, walking around. We did some investigating there for a different video coming on my channel. It is close to Zorro Ranch, and it's such a weird area because you are in the middle of just a subdivision of random, nice-seeming houses in Albuquerque, and in the center is this little park where all of these skeletons were unearthed from murder victims, and the perpetrator was never apprehended. Now, for me, when it comes to me, in my opinion, I can't remember the guy's name, but the perpetrator who they believe carried out those crimes, to me, it seems like he at minimum was involved. I think there could have been a element to this. I don't really think it's Epstein, but the guy who they think may have carried it out, he was murdered while he was trying to dispose of the body of a girl he had murdered. I think it was the girl's like pimp or boyfriend had showed up and saw the suspect carrying his dead girlfriend or whatever, her body out of his trailer, so he shot and killed them. There's a really disturbing tape that the police found at this guy's house, and it contains what sounds like a body being prepared for disposal or burial, and it sounds like this perpetrator says something to this dead body. Man, it's really, really creepy footage. So I think that guy's good for those crimes. To me, he's a good suspect, and it doesn't mean he didn't work with anybody else, but, you know. For me, though, Zorro Ranch, I mean, in the release of these new files that have come out, there have been many accusations that Epstein had people and that people died as a part of some of these things. I mean, specifically, there was, this is one of the files. This was sent from someone who claims to have been an ex-Zorro Ranch employee in 2019 named Eddie Aragon. This is sensitive, so it will be the first and last email depending on your discretion. You can choose to take it or trash it, but this comes from a person that has been there and seen it all as a former staff at the Zorro. The material below was taken from Jeffrey Epstein home as my insurance in case of future litigation against Epstein. Sorry, no questions. What is damning about Jeffrey Epstein is yet to be written. Did you know somewhere in the hills outside the Zorro, 2 foreign girls were buried on orders of Jeffrey and Madam G? Both died by during rough. And then in this thing, this email, this ex-employee is offering for money, Bitcoin payment, to send video footage of Epstein and different people with it says right here, fantasy video, girl from Bay Area, self-unaliving attempt, confession to Madam G, Ghislaine. So that's just an unverified thing. We don't know what happened to this guy. We don't know if this guy actually had this stuff. We don't know if this is good intel, but there are a number of people at this point who have claimed that there are bodies at Zorro Ranch. And I think you have to actually be stupid to think that no one was ever killed in the decades-long history of Epstein's ring. We are talking about an organized crime ring on a global level that implicates the upper crust, the uppitiest upper crust of upper crusts, the elitist of the elite. I'm probably not saying all that right, but these are the most powerful people on planet Earth. Think about low-level gangster outfits, mob outfits. Think about the cartel. Think about these other criminal organizations. They kill people all the damn time. And these guys are just kind of like criminals. When it comes to Epstein, we are talking about these people playing on a level that we've never seen before. These are people that could stand to lose everything: power, money, historical respect, if anything is found out about them. You really don't think that in the decades of running this operation, there wasn't one person murdered to keep this whole thing quiet? You have tons of people alleging that this happened. You've got tons of suspicious deaths. I mean, the guy at the center of it was definitely whacked. Yeah, but some people infuriate me. You know, they want to stick to the government's story. They want to say, oh, it's too crazy. There's no way this could happen, yada, yada, yada. And I'm not even one of the super out there people. I mean, there are people that are claiming that this is all, you know, ball, sacrifice, satanic, whatever. I don't buy into that because I've never seen evidence of it relating to Epstein. You guys know, based on my work here on the channel, if I see evidence that points to something like that, I'll immediately call it out. But yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything like that, and I hate to place blame on a group that I haven't seen evidence that they're involved. You know what I'm trying to say. I like to keep it factual, but I mean, clearly they got away with murder. And clearly I believe, based on all of this, I mean, I even told you about that police report or an anonymous tip submitted to the FBI by a former law enforcement officer in New Mexico who claimed that it looked like Epstein had a crematorium on his property. So yeah, there's so much. But we have to move on. Chapter 7, the new owner? Epstein's ranch lay dormant for years after its owner's death. but in August of 2023, it finally found a new tenant. An attorney for the deceased financier's estate, Daniel Weiner, stated that the ranch was sold for an undisclosed price to a newly registered company. The proceeds, they said, would be used to administer the estate and pay creditors. Perhaps trying to make bank off of the previous owner's infamy, they originally listed the ranch at $27.5 million, later dropping it to $18 million. This is similar to what happened to Epstein's Island, Little St. James. Originally listed at a high price, it was dropped when no one wanted the desecrated land. The new owner is San Rafael Ranch LLC, registered with the Secretary of State's office less than a month before the purchase occurred. This is a disturbing pattern. Epstein himself liked to purchase property under shell companies. But, in the last month or so, we have found out who the property owner is. It is a guy named Don Huffines or Huffines. Don Huffines, he's a extremely wealthy individual. He's running for comptroller in Texas. He actually just won the primary in Texas. This guy is an absolute lunatic, and he's the owner of Zorro Ranch, and I believe he and his son or whoever, they are essentially planning to turn Epstein's Zorro Ranch into a Christian retreat, which is absolutely insane to me. Don Huffines actually posted on X, "What the enemy once meant for evil, God can redeem for good." Just insane. Don owns Huffines Communities, a real estate development company in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. He ran for governor of Texas in the 2022 Republican primary. Obviously, Greg Abbott won. His campaign promises are to audit the state government, run state government like a business, expose government corruption, eliminate woke ideology. Oh my God, not woke ideology. Oh, Don, save me. Stupid. End taxpayer funding for illegals and Doge Texas government. Shut the f up. You are a multimillionaire, probably a billionaire. I don't know how much Don is worth. He owns Zorro Ranch, and it's not like the first day he bought it, he invited investigators to come in and search the property. No, that still hasn't happened. He has not advocated for them to come search, and actually I flew a drone over the property recently, and I saw they are destroying the land. They are actively digging and destroying Zorro before investigations can occur. Yeah, Don actually, like I just mentioned, wasn't going to reveal that he was the owner, but he got ousted because of a filing and a kind of a mistake that they made, and he was revealed as being the new owner, and that's forced him to go, "Oh, God has compelled me to do this, yada yada, blah blah." It sounds a lot worse if you say I bought Jeffrey Epstein's ranch for almost $20 million, but yeah, that's just me. Of course, the property no longer lays claim to the extra acreage that Epstein held with the grazing leases. These were canceled after his downfall and subsequent demise in 2019. Yet still, obviously, one wonders what remains on the Zorro Ranch property. As stated previously, the ranch was never raided. Any evidence that existed there is, without a doubt in my mind, already gone, and it's been gone for years. I mean, this is like someone murdering someone, an extremely bloody, gruesome scene. Like, this room is covered floor to ceiling in blood. The police arrest you for murdering this other person at this other property you own, and they realize you are a serial killer with 1,000 victims, and yet they don't search your huge home that is likely covered in blood, and the blood is still there. And then the people who worked for this guy, who are possibly also implicated in all this, they have 6-7 years, 6-7 years to go in and clean the whole place. It would be like the murderer's team having 6 to 7 years to come into a room and scrub floor to ceiling every ounce of blood, destroy evidence, burn evidence. 6-7 years is a long time. People call New Mexico the land of enchantment. With its stunning landscapes, breathtaking sunsets, and bright blue skies, no one could think that such a horror could have been hiding there in plain sight. How could any of this be real? How could one man have gotten away with so much right here on American soil? The world holds many dark secrets, but could it be such an evil place as to house a man such as this among us? For 66 years, Jeffrey Epstein lived and breathed beside us. Someone had to know about what he was up to, and worse, there had to be an entire network of individuals helping him keep his secrets. But many call the rest far-fetched. They say there could not have been a secret baby farm in New Mexico. There wasn't a secret so dark that the government itself was working to hide it. There's no way that there are bodies buried there. No. I haven't seen the FBI talk about it, so there's no way that that's true. Shut the f*** up. In 2023, a book reviewer put all this to the test. While he was on a family road trip, the man decided it would be an interesting stop to visit Zorro Ranch, or at least the highway beside it. He was curious if this evil lair was really all that people said it was. So, bringing along his drone, he decided to find out. Once he and his family arrived outside Zorro Ranch, they pulled over on the side of the road. Getting out of his car, he set up a drone equipped with a camera and flew it toward the mansion at the center of the property. At once, he saw what appeared to be a red security van rolling up the driveway. Then the vehicle began to follow the drone. Not long after, another vehicle approached the man and his family. A man who seemed to be a security guard got out of the car, holding one hand behind his back. The book reviewer stood in shock watching as he approached. With the aggressive way he approached and his hand concealed, the book reviewer was certain that he was about to be shot with the concealed gun. As the stranger drew closer, though, he finally realized that they weren't alone. There was a family in the car, including small children. The guard sternly told him to leave, and the man was only too happy to do so. Shaken, the anonymous reviewer retrieved his drone, climbed back into his vehicle, and left. When he finally looked over the footage he captured, he noted something interesting. He had been able to capture a side of the house on video that had never been seen before. He didn't have to look at the footage long to see why. 5 massive vent covers were arranged beside the home. Vent covers such as these are often seen above underground chambers, but even one would be enough for a large underground room. Epstein's mansion had 5, enough for not just one room, but seemingly a massive complex of rooms or even underground tunnels. You see, Epstein himself bragged about having tunnels beneath his properties, if not what they were used for. I mean, we can see this, it's all over the files actually, tons of discussions of tunnels and underground this and that. After all, Epstein was on 2 boards for the Lifeboat Foundation, a company that claims it's able to create underground bunkers. Epstein was on 2 boards for this company that claims to be able to create underground bunkers. Epstein served on their finance board as well as their futurist board, though one won't find his name there now, as all evidence of his involvement has been scrubbed from the site. Many believe that Epstein used his connections within the Lifeboat Foundation to build massive complexes beneath not just Zorro Ranch, but all of his properties. If this were true, there's no telling what horrific purposes those complexes served. One must think of the victims' claims: staircases leading down that were always off limits, guests being escorted everywhere on the property, the government of New Mexico being prohibited from stepping foot on the grounds. Maybe none of Epstein's crimes were out in the open. Maybe they were hiding beneath the desert, buried in a bunker complex even larger than what was seen on the outside. Was this where Epstein had his baby farm? Are his cloning projects lurking beneath the desert even now? With so many years having passed since Epstein's death, we may never know. Federal agents never searched the property. Perhaps they already knew what they would find, or perhaps they were too afraid to look. In my opinion, they knew what was going on, they were helping to fund and protect what was going on, and that's why they didn't want to look. They didn't want to expose themselves. Only in the most bizarre of sci-fi fantasy could someone imagine it. Underground bunkers used for eugenics and cloning laboratories run by a psychotic financier. But perhaps in New Mexico, real life is stranger than fiction. And also, what if Epstein was successful? What if this cloning endeavor actually paid off? That leads to another horrifying possibility that no one should ever even have to consider. Yet the question has to be asked: who was the man recovered from within his cell on August 10th, 2019?
So interestingly, one place we had to stop by here in Albuquerque that I was not familiar with is this little plaque. So this strip mall area is pretty innocuous. You would never really guess that this place had such a impact on planet Earth. But like this plaque says, this is where Paul Allen and Bill Gates founded Microsoft. And as you know, Microsoft is like the biggest company on planet Earth. I mean, Google, think of all the Microsoft products and services that are out there. I mean, it's just insane. Microsoft founded at this site in 1975, headquartered until 1979. The opportunity to write a version of BASIC for the MITS Altair drew them to the area and sparked their vision of a computer on every desk and in every home. So, why are we here? Well, Bill Gates is obviously tied really closely in with Jeffrey Epstein. So I thought it was interesting that very close to Zorro Ranch, about an hour or so from Zorro Ranch, is the place where Microsoft started. And you can view Microsoft however you want, but a lot of people think obviously it's one of the most evil companies on planet Earth. So it's kind of weird to see that, right?
Very weird. I did not know that it started in Albuquerque, that's for sure.
Me either, man.
Here it is.
Oh.
It's weird to think that like the biggest company, like one of the biggest, most known companies in the world, started in a building like this, which I'm sure in 1979 was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's crazy, man. right here. It is so trippy to think, you know? Microsoft, Bill Gates, Jeffrey Epstein, it's all connected, my boy. Before we visit Epstein's ranch, we've come to a place that I've wanted to visit for years now. This is the sanctuary of Chimeo, the Santuario de Chimeo, and this is a very, very holy place. This is actually one of the most, if not the most, visited pilgrimage site in America. Essentially what it boils down to is this is a sacred place where a black crucifix was found in the dirt. The priest, someone involved, tried to move the crucifix to another church and it appeared back in the dirt. They tried to move it again. It reappeared in the dirt, and from that point forward, this became a holy site with people visiting this location and experiencing miraculous healings and miracles and feeling the presence of God or whatever higher power you believe in. This is a really, really powerful spiritual place, and it could be the most powerful spiritual place in all of America. You don't see places like this here in the States. So before we visit Zorro Ranch, I wanted to come collect some dirt and say a prayer and cover us in protective energies. It's really out here, isn't it?
It's very far. It's beautiful.
Man, wow, man. Driving through the mountains all the way up there. What a life. Truly.
It's awesome.
Well, let's go in. You can really feel the power of places like this, even if you're not religious. Just the fact that people have been coming here for so many hundreds of years and praying and putting that energy out, it's crazy. Wow, what a beautiful day.
History in 60, Deva, but I don't really go by my real name on there, Slightly High Historian, and I've been researching Zorro Ranch for a ridiculous amount of time. I've spent a ton of time out here, and I'm so excited that you guys are out here now too, because if you want to kind of scooch this way, you can start seeing, first thing that I kind of wanted to tell you guys about, and it seems like it might not be like a big thing, but this dirt right here, this was not here 2 weeks ago. And I filmed right here, right? Which is crazy. And there's so many things about this place that are like that. If you look up too, if you go to the big house, we'll scooch over here. If you look up over by the big house too, which you can't really see perfectly right now, obviously, because it's really far away, you'll see a ton of dirt and diggers and berms of dirt like this as well. And the dirt looks awfully similar. So it's a whole thing. I'm gonna go on and on.
Yeah,
I can tell you.
Perfect.
Zooming in, I can actually see the house pretty nicely from this
Really?
camera.
That's so nice.
Shit, you don't even really need a damn telescope.
Oh, no, it's crazy. And especially too, you get such a good view of it from the road over here. And if you go down, like I was telling you guys, if you go about 3/4 of a mile down the road, you can see kind of the other side of the house, but the prominence is undeniable out here. Like even just driving by, you can tell where everything is. And then back there, you have Ranch Central, which kind of that way, I don't know if you can zoom that well on that. But Ranch Central back there is the actual fully functioning town that is here. And this place, do you want a little bit of history on the place?
Sure.
Or, okay, cool. I don't want to like talk your ear off over here.
No, please.
So Zorro Ranch was purchased in 1993 by Jeffrey Epstein from our former governor, Bruce King. Now, Bruce King has a huge connection out here. If you look across the street, all of this land is owned by Bruce King. And he sold it at a loss, like we were just talking about, to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, when Jeffrey Epstein, he built most everything out here. And he has a lot of pictures. If you look in the Epstein files, you can see him through several kind of areas of construction out here. They had horses. There's a lot of the Epstein files about like landing here, because what you can't see, and you really can't see from the road, so it would be like so cool if people had drones out here. That would be crazy if that happened. There's actually an entire airstrip back there. And for the airstrip, way back there, you can't really see it right now, they have added new radio equipment, all that good stuff. Then the connection to our governor, which is also really crazy, Jeffrey Epstein was really good friends with the governor's son, Gary King, who was also the state attorney for several years. He was actually in trouble in 2014 for taking campaign contributions from Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of our scientific community has also traveled out here because Jeffrey Epstein, we know he had that whole genetic obsession thing, which so many of these men do. It's just the most interesting thing, because why would you want to populate the earth with those people? Anyway, that's off subject. But they were really good friends, our scientific community from the Santa Fe Institute, and a lot of them have actually come out and talked about it and said that, well, they thought he was just kind of a wacky rich guy, and they didn't think that, you know, that was so crazy and such a bad thing, which I would like to talk to them again now, because a lot of those interviews are from 2019. Speaking of 2019 too, another interesting part is a lot of the land you're going to see around here is called a buffer area. It's like buffer land. And most of it is owned by the state of New Mexico. They have leased some of it back out to the new owners out here, right? But that land, all of that out here was also leased from our state, but they didn't cancel those land leases until 2019 after he had passed away. And they made a big show of it. You can find it, I want to say it was KOB. And the land commissioner ripped up the land leases on the news. So they knew about this back then, but there was still no investigation done until recently. Last year when they started talking about the Truth Commission, it was around September. So there's a ton of connections out here. You've also got Bill Richardson, who's a former governor, who has unfortunately since passed, which we also talked about. I just wish he was here to seek justice. And then just like a couple other things that they've added out here. There are new no trespassing signs. Ranch Central vehicles have changed. They have some new people working out here. And if you've seen a lot of the videos, the entrance has changed also. It used to just be kind of a wooden fence. There's 3 security gates, but the first one was just a wooden fence that says Zorro Ranch. That has since been changed and is getting worked on now, but I'm not sure about the other security gates going up. I'm trying to think what else. There's a lot. There's a lot out here.
Well, man, there's so many things to talk about. When we were coming in here, I thought it was interesting because we were discussing how if there's an underground component to Zorro, it's built up. And when you see photos of this place online, you don't really see that it's like elevated to that degree. You just see photos of the ranch, but like it is so eerie to look at it and imagine like there could be something right there that you're staring at if you had like x-ray goggles to see it.
Well, and there's so many rumors of there being tunnels out here that at this point, with everything that's kind of happened out here, every rumor has turned out to be a fact. And so I wouldn't put it beyond the shadow of doubt that there are tunnels out there. And that's why a lot of people have been talking about the state of New Mexico and the investigation. So that's one thing I did want to say, is I want people to understand what the state of New Mexico actually means by that. The state of New Mexico has said there's not enough evidence for them to actually come out here and look at anything. And to find tunnels, to find possible bodies out here, or even just evidence, they need infrared cameras, they need ground penetrating equipment and that sort of thing. But right now what they're trying to get is unredacted emails, as well as witness testimony, people who have been out here, people who have worked out here. So they're encouraging people to contact, you can look it up, it's their Truth Commission here in New Mexico. And they're really encouraging people to say that because as of right now, they're saying, it's not something I agree with, that they don't have enough evidence to come out here and actually look at this place.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
There's not enough to execute a search warrant, they're saying?
No, our state attorney came out and said, I want to say it was like a week and a half ago, that the Truth Commission has been given a $2 million budget and they are looking into records, but without the, he said specifically, without the unredacted emails, they don't feel that there's enough evidence to execute a search warrant. I strongly disagree with that, just from the things that have happened here over the years. I mean, maybe something they're thinking of is out of a statute of limitation. I don't know. But when it comes to murder, that's never outside of a statute of limitation. Anywhere. So that's kind of my thing. I don't really understand that. Other than this place, I'm not really the kind to be like, oh my God, there's a cover up. I'm really not that kind of person. But this place, clearly, that's what happened here. And so I wonder, with this Truth Commission, I hope it does amazing things, but I wonder when and if they will come out here.
I mean, but how do they not search this property?
I have no idea.
Like, he's a sex trafficker with 1,000 victims and thousands of CSAM images, according to them. I mean, and that's not including blackmail and the trafficking angle. And they've searched the New York house, they've searched Epstein Island, they've searched any place he's touched except for this ranch, which is his property.
Well, and that's another interesting part of the history here. I'm glad you brought that up, is the sale. So basically, this place was allowed to sell like any old regular house. So basically, when he passed away, they canceled the land leases that were on the buffer land zone, basically is what they call it. But this ranch ran the entire time. There were staff here. They were actually paid for once it sold by the state of New Mexico, they said, because they took the majority of the proceeds from the sale for upkeep and fees and taxes to the state, which is actually something that the new owner was trying to fight. And that's how we found out who they are, because they filed the paperwork and his wife signed it. Huffines. I didn't say it right in my video that I made about it, but you know, and so basically this sat here from when he passed until 2023. And we still don't know the exact sale price, but it was probably lower than 18.1 million, which was dropped from 27 million. And it just sat here, but it didn't really sit here because it kept going. Then when it sold, initially it was running and there were horses out here and all kinds of stuff. And then it just kind of slowed down for basically 2 years. And then I came out here again, because I've come out here a lot, probably more than I should have. And they were working on the gate and they were doing all of that. But I mean, this place sat here from probably 2019 until 2025, early 2025, with nothing going on.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, but there were people here and you could see them moving around. The vehicles changed at one point, which I'm going to send you all those pictures. But there was, other than that, this was supposed to be empty at that point.
Right.
You know, and when the real estate agents came in and did the video, it was still very well kept. And that's the other thing about that. I can go on and on. Everything that was here sold with the property.
Really?
Everything that was here sold with the property.
Even his possessions?
His possessions, his couches, everything, because this place was never raided by the FBI, by the police. So, and his estate was in charge of the sale. They would have had plenty of time, because we know that he loves security and supercomputers. They would have had a ton of time to come in here and remove everything. So by the time it sold, I doubt the security system and that sort of stuff was here, but you can see pictures from the realtor video, which I'm also going to send you, where you can see books, couches, everything's there. There was some art, but I didn't see anything super like strange like that Bill Clinton one, but I think that was his New York apartment, which, oh my God. But yeah, so there's still, there's art inside, like down to the chandeliers, everything's here. And nothing is ripped up. You can tell it was never searched. When I saw the realtor video in, I think it was 2021 that it went on the market. So you can fact check me on that one. I don't know exactly if it's that one. But yeah, it was pristine.
I mean, it's so eerie to me to imagine, like, it's just this hulking, like, I don't know what to call it. Like, it just is calling your name, sitting there on the hill, like this almost spooky, like, mansion that's just off limits. You don't know what's inside of the place. You don't know what's underneath the place. And no one's ever looked at it. It's just crazy.
And one of the things that you guys noticed when you first got here is the smell. It does not smell good out here.
No, it smells terrible.
There's a little trench right here where there's just a bunch of garbage in it. And just the vibe out here, like you guys were saying, the vibe out here is very, I don't know if I want to say ominous, but somewhere around, it's very ominous out here.
Oh, it's very ominous.
And it is, like we were talking about, it is the middle of nowhere. If you were out here, and I emphasize this a lot in my videos because I think it does help people understand, if you tried to leave here, especially in the middle of the night, there's nowhere to go. Even the town down there, we parked at a park because it was the only place that we could find to meet because there's just nothing here.
No gas station.
No, there's no gas station around here.
Yeah, the closest gas station is what? Like a 40-minute drive down the road on the freeway.
That is crazy as hell.
Yeah, and if you go this way, you're probably also a good 40 to 45 minutes from a gas station.
Yeah, this is where we came from. It's down there.
And it's very that way too is interesting because there's a land formation over there that it's called the Devil's Spine or the Devil's Ridge, and that I always found that ironic. I was like, yeah. Of course he wanted to live here. He knew he was in good company. But yeah, a lot of the stuff out here, I agree with you. I don't know how it's never been investigated. I don't know how they're still not here.
Right.
That's what's frustrating because people like you guys and people like content creators and then Reuters was out here, they've done more investigation. And the local news, I do want to give them credit. In New Mexico, our local news has been covering this stuff for a very long time. Our politicians gotten, I don't want to say it's trouble because it's not. It was a slap on the wrist and give the money back. But there are news articles about our politicians taking money from a registered sex offender. That's another part. I need to tell you about that part. So the reason that Jeffrey Epstein chose New Mexico, most people don't know this, is because technically the age of consent here is 16. And I've had people argue with me, look it up, and also you can get married under 14 here with parental permission or if you are pregnant.
Under 14?
Yeah, I didn't know that until recently. So we have some laws that really, really need to be worked on. You can look those up. But Epstein did not have to register as a sex offender here because they changed all the stuff in Florida. And the victims, they said, were 16, which we know now that was not true. But because of that, he, on a technicality, did not have to register here.
As a sex offender?
Yes.
Wow.
So he was able to live here without those restrictions.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So those are things we're working on certain things with that. Like recently we've updated the statute of limitations on sexual assault, child sexual assault. So they are really trying to progress on that. So I will give credit for that. But yeah, there's a lot of things here that just are very strange.
Yeah. And I mean,
it's also Zorro Ranch would be where a lot of people believe the human cloning and the designer baby stuff and all those weird scientific experiments would have been happening. Like I interviewed Juliet Bryant for this video and she talked about being brought out here and she said she remembers going to Epstein Island, being at his mansion, but when she got here to the ranch, it was like as soon as she got here, it was a blur and she doesn't really remember it other than waking up and people like removing stuff from her body and like a surgical team, and she saw a UFO in the sky here.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, it gets out here in the desert at night. It's creepy. I mean, it's just, and plus too, you add all of this in there. And that was, a lot of people have thought that with Ranch Central that's over there, that's what a lot of people have thought that Ranch Central was here for, because it really is a fully functioning town. There's a fire department that's another thing. So they haven't investigated it. No cops have come up here, right? Actually, that's not true, but they didn't care to do anything about anything else up here. So a couple was arrested up here in 2019, pretty shortly after Epstein passed away. And they had stolen a mirror off of the fire truck that you can find in Ranch Central because it's still in the fire department. It likely sold with the property. It's in the realtor photos. But they got caught leaving the property, and some groundskeeper here, some little blonde lady that we hear about quite a bit, held them at gunpoint until the police got here and arrested them. And another robbery that is yet unsolved and no one caught them. Right after Epstein passed away, a few people broke in and stole a bunch of guns. They said that they stole like 80 of them, and no one knows who it was. And
Really?
It's never been investigated or solved.
80 guns from this property?
Yes.
Potential murder weapons?
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff here that's really strange, not to mention that goes further to the understanding of how crazy it is as this place was never investigated. They had guns inside, they had, all of this stuff, but I guess if you're friendly with them, that's okay. It's like, there's just so much around this that doesn't make sense. And I would agree with some people that one or two things by themselves, they don't seem like that big, but when you add everything up, it's very strange.
Yeah, it's one of those things that,
it really feels like just like the nexus of evil sitting right there, like this mysterious, it's a weird feeling, like staring at it. It's like the supervillain's lair that's never been investigated. And according to the tip sheets and everything, it's like there could be bodies buried here. There could have been multiple murders. I saw someone found a tip sheet from a former New Mexico state police officer who saw a crematorium here. Have you seen that?
I have not seen that one.
I just saw it. Yeah, he said like there was a smokestack and it was in the barn area here on the property.
I did not hear. I'm gonna have to look that up.
So it's like, imagine if you kill someone up there, it'd be so easy to get rid of them.
Well, and no one's
not even a joke.
No, exactly. And my this is one story. I haven't even told this on my TikTok, so this is a little exclusive. My brother actually worked here many years ago. He's like a machine analyst and vibration special. I'm sorry, brother. I know he's got a master's in engineering. I don't know, whatever. But they came out here because they were having a problem with their water tanks. And when they came out, they were taken to a shed and they were watched the whole time. There was like a lot of security. They were allowed to come in, work, and then they were escorted directly out. There was no walking around. There was no moving around. It was like, you're here for a job and you need to leave. Which he just recently told me that. And I was like, how are you holding this out on me all these years? Who does
hard
that?
to believe.
I know, yeah. And
Wow.
so, but that made me think is there's got to be so many people who worked out here
Oh, yeah.
that have that information, because you don't keep a place like this running and looking the way it does for all this time if you don't have a huge crew of people doing stuff.
You have a whole city for them.
Well, and we looked at, we were looking through, the telescope at the house and everything. It's pristine. And I've been out here a few times. And I mean, I don't live across the street, so it's not but you don't see a ton of movement out here that would make sense that everything's looking so good. Back to the point that I was making about the town though, is that's what I think, that's why I think this place was not investigated, because it is kind of the epicenter of the evil he wanted to do. And I believe that he wanted that town to create a somewhat, and this is my tinfoil hat moment, but adding everything up, I think he wanted to create a normative experience for the babies he was going to raise here. And that's just my, I don't know, you would have them here with these girls and they would be raised by whoever. And I don't even want to think about the rest. I'm not even going to verbalize that. But that's what I kind of thought it was. It feels like he was going to populate out here in some way.
And it's wild too. Thinking about people have been, obviously we've seen all the police videos and documents relating to his house in New York, the Palm Beach mansion.
Mm-hmm.
There have been tons of people that have snuck onto the island. No one's ever snuck into this building, onto this property, and there's no video tour or anything like that.
Well, and that's the closest thing we have to a video tour is the realtor video, and I'm going to shoot that over to you because they don't have it. Sotheby's took the entire listing down. You can't find it anywhere anymore.
Sotheby's signs are out here.
If Sotheby's does a ton of business out here, and they actually sold this house.
Really?
So I'll send you guys the video, and it's a lady from Santa Fe. And all of that, but that is the closest to inside anyone's seen since he passed away.
Crazy.
And I do want to say that was in 2021 that they were able to do that and everything. And they did also the video kind of goes through Ranch Central, but you see more pictures of it than you really see of this and more bird's eye view. It's kind of, even though there is a video, it's strange. But that's the thing about sneaking on. We were talking about this. There's only 2 roads that are even kind of near that, and the other one, the one I told you where the abandoned house, it's super far over there. And there's 1 road over there, and then the rest of this is private property, and that's why they have that state land, because it's a buffer zone. And the state, oh my gosh, there's just so much information. I'm so sorry.
No, as much as you can. That's
the
what we want.
state has said that they cannot access their own land because of the way it's set up out here.
Really?
Yes. So the state, oh, and this is another part of it. In 2019, that is the only people that did ever come out here, was the land commissioner, and they went to the gate and they wanted to inspect their land, and they were turned away and they left. And they never did anything about it.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess someone did come out here, but I always say no one came out here because I don't know if it counts. But yeah, so that was a whole
really,
thing.
no.
Yeah. So they can't access their own land, and that's just like, okay, I guess.
So do you think that there's an underground to that? Personal speculation?
I personally, like I said, there's so much rumor around this place, and I found all the rumors to be true. So I would not doubt it, honestly.
Me either.
My only question about it, and this is the only place I would have, is out here, would you need to be secretive?
That's a good point.
That's my question. But also, too, if you wanted to bring people out here who couldn't find their way out, I mean, yes, we're in the middle of nowhere, but there's always going to be someone, you know. And so if you didn't want them to know where they were, or you had some kind of scientist you were bringing in, you didn't want them to know where they were, I could see that, absolutely. And just so many people talk about it, it's hard to believe that it's not here. And like, that is way up on that hill over there.
Right? Yeah,
you know?
You want to walk over here and look at this kind of pit?
Yeah, absolutely. Watch your step. And that's what I was telling you, though, is none of this dirt was here when I filmed 2 weeks ago. It's all kind of showed up over here. And it's kind, I mean, I don't want to be like, I always try to be very fair out here. And that's one thing I want. Like, I'm definitely not one of those people that's like, trying to look for something. But there's just so many coincidences, like this dirt. And there's no construction anywhere near here. So I don't know where it came from. So that's a whole thing. And then, yeah, if you look over here, you've just got garbage and it smells terrible.
Yeah, like, what is all this? Like, where does this come from?
Well, exactly. And that's the thing is that it's just, there's nothing out here. So, but I mean, New Mexico, we are a little terrible. I don't want to say we, but we do dump our trash in places you shouldn't be dumping trash. But this is just, it seems like an awkward area.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a little bit hidden. And then, like, even right here, there's like a full couch. Who pulls over right here and just decides to get rid of a couch?
Well, and it smells horrendous.
Yeah.
It does. It smells like,
right here.
Yeah, it smells like something dead. Oh, there's little holes. We should be okay. There shouldn't be rattlesnakes. But hey, if you hear a rattle, we're gonna move that way. But not really. People, you know, as long as we don't go trekking out there. But that's the interesting thing, like we were talking about how no one, yeah, with the land out here, nobody has ever gotten close to this. And not that I've tried to figure out a way, because that would be illegal and trespassing is a problem. Okay. But there's not even any hiking trails out here that would get you close to the house. You would have to like sneak. And like I was telling you, I don't know if you can catch it over there, but those little signs, all the new no trespassing signs are new. And they have the name of the new owner. And they haven't been there for that long. Oh, that's the police.
Really?
Yeah, so that's the police. Oh, and they're coming. They're definitely coming to have a conversation with us, I think. Oh, I didn't know they knew where this place was. That's cool.
I wonder what they're gonna say.
I don't know, that's weird. That made me like that. Oh my God, my stomach's bubbly now. But yeah, so he's just kind of sitting in his car looking at us. But like, that's actually a joke that I've made in my video several times. Like when the police came out to arrest that lady who was out there, that's always my joke. I'm like, I didn't know you knew where this place was. That's crazy.
So then it's like, did they call on us?
That's what I'm wondering. And also too, we're not trespassing. We're not anywhere near their property.
No.
We're just chilling and filming. That does make my little heart's like, oh my gosh. Like, but he's not like doing anything. He's just like typing in his computer. So I don't know. Oh yeah.
Rental plates.
This is the wrong time to tell you guys that I'm on the run.
Us too.
Oh, he's getting out.
I mean, it definitely does smell bad right here.
It does. It smells funny. So yeah, he's walking over there. Hi.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Good.
Good, making a video.
Good.
I just wanted to make sure you guys were all right. No one's come to bother you guys or nothing like that?
Oh, no, not at all.
Perfect. We have an open call for this stretch of highway. I guess some people have been crossing the fence there and stuff like that. And then some of the employees of whatever ranch are calling and saying that they're getting harassing people going over there harassing them and waiting at the highway blocking them in. So I just want to make sure you guys were good.
Yeah, no, we
we're
would
not
never
planning on
do
going on the
that.
property
No.
at all.
Okay, perfect. Well, no, just you guys be safe.
All right,
Thank
hey,
you.
appreciate it. I really appreciate that.
That's interesting.
What does that even mean, really?
That they're, from what I understand from my time working with people and like law enforcement and stuff, is that they're keeping this place under watch right now. How like edited do I have to be for this?
Not at all.
No, not at all.
No.
What the fuck? You guys can come out here and patrol for that shit, but you can't come out here and see if there's been people raped and murdered. Okay.
That is pretty crazy.
That's fine.
Well, at least they didn't call on us, you know?
Yeah, that's nice. So he said an open call, but then he was like, what did he say? He was like, well, they've been saying people have been coming. And so like, that's one thing that I've always, I think why I've never had any trouble out here. I have never trespassed. And I typically, not typically, I never would. Because honestly, like if you were, I don't know if you saw the news today, but there was some guy that went to Mar-a-Lago and they shot him.
Yeah.
Like, and this out here, that's one thing that I do want to remind people of. I know we want to investigate and we want to do stuff like that. And I think like drones or anything like that, people don't own the airspace. I get that. But these people, I don't want people to lose sight of the fact that they are very dangerous. And that we shouldn't be trying to climb up to that house because these people, I mean, the one person, the groundskeeper who has been seen here, carries a gun. That's how she kept those people here until the cops came. So I just want people to be careful if they're coming out here because I think on some levels, like can't lose sight of the fact that Epstein was like, this is like a big deal. And they've spent a lot of money to cover it up. And you don't want to be a part of that, you know?
I think it's kind of crazy. What groundskeeper is working as a security guard?
And it's an older woman with a gun?
It didn't say older woman, it said a blonde woman.
Oh.
And like this is definitely conspiracy theory, but this was left to his girlfriend.
Karina.
Yeah, and that was during the time that they still owned it. So, and that was, I mean, shortly after he passed away. I mean, I want to say it was 2000, it was like the same year. I want to say it was within a few months of him passing.
But like genuinely though,
Yeah.
like a groundskeeper is just like supposed to be someone who's like making sure like, oh, there's not like trees down on the road or like yeah, if someone's breaking in, like call the police. But for someone like holding people at gunpoint,
Yeah. And there's a whole news article, you got to look it up, or I'll send it to you. I think I have a screenshot of it. But yeah, basically they were stopped and they were already like leaving. They had made it in, robbed Ranch Central, and were already on the way out. Oh, and they got charged. Like you can look, they got charged, they got in trouble. There was like, it wasn't a slap on the wrist or anything. I don't think they did, maybe they did, I don't think they did jail time. I think it was probation and a fine. But they certainly got in trouble. More trouble than anyone, you know, who killed or raped people here did. So.
Absolutely.
That's what like, so that's one of the things about when you, cause like I'm mostly TikTok, right? I have to be to a level of edited on there that, yeah, but I try not to rant and rave because I don't think that's ever really helpful to get your point across. But like this place makes me want to rant and rave. This is f***ing bullshit.
Yeah.
Like absolute f***ing bullshit.
Well, that's what we're here making this video for, is to show people that it's fucking lunacy. They have a cop that can come stop here and ask us what we're doing, but they can't go half a mile in that direction to look for dead bodies.
Exactly, and that's why I always joke. I'm like, I didn't know.
I also like when the cop said, whoever's ranch this is.
Yeah,
I know.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
Whoever's
like
ranch.
you don't know.
Come on, buddy.
I'm like, this is like the most money that's in this town.
Well, this is like the most infamous ranch in America.
I know.
This is like the front page news on every news station.
This is our King Ranch, which is also involved in this.
Yeah.
And Zorro Ranch.
Well, and did you guys notice when we were driving up here that King Ranch Road is like right there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I want to say when he bought it, it was still named that because it's gone through. This is like the second name change because it got changed to Zorro from King Ranch and now it's Rancho San Rafael or whatever.
So Zorro Ranch. What kind of name is that?
You know,
It's a good question, Connor.
the best I can ever figure is that he fancies himself someone that he is not. So maybe he thinks he's Zoro.
And then we were even looking at the logo for Zorro Ranch, and it's got like a pitchfork.
It was very strange. And it was here from the beginning. That was one of the first things, like going through the files, that was a new thing I found out. That was one of the first things they decided on here was the logo. And it was one of the first things that went up by the fence over there.
With the trident, the pitchfork.
Very strange, yeah.
A very, very devilish accoutrement.
See, that's the thing with Epstein. I think he knew exactly who he was. Like, he knew he was, like, because, you know, some people that are very sociopathic or have those kinds of issues, they think they're doing some good or something like that. Like, he was just genuinely evil and trying to create evil in the world.
Yeah. I mean, he was like actively trying to practice eugenics.
Which is crazy. Don't even get me started. I'm a sociologist. Don't get me started on eugenics, bro. But yeah, no, that's exactly what he was doing out here. And the part that bothers me about New Mexico, our scientific community was very happy to engage in those conversations with him and to come here to dinners. There's proof that they came to several dinners. And he basically bought a scientist here. So it's a lot, because that's their defense for taking his $250,000 is, oh, well, it was just this one scientist who was doing genetic research. So it's okay that we took the money. Yeah.
I mean, so much mystery. I have no doubt that there's bodies somewhere here, or at least human remains, even if they're cremated and scattered. You don't have a sex trafficking empire with thousands of victims. It's international, and no one dies at some point, especially when you're playing in the halls of power like presidents.
Well, and one thing I really do want to mention, just so, because in New Mexico, so most of New Mexico, where you're going to drive through and everything, we have a lot of reservations. We have, and we have a huge problem here with missing and murdered Indigenous people, and especially missing and murdered Indigenous women. And a lot of people here, and a lot of comments that I get is people want that aspect of this examined because they get forgotten all too often. And this is definitely like my leg. We need to think about them too, because there's a lot, like we have one serial killer case here. That's the West Side murders, and I don't want to say the wrong number because it's disrespectful, but it was like 11 or 14 women.
The West Mesa?
The West, yes.
11.
11, thank you. And it's never solved. Nobody knows anything like that, and we have a lot of stuff out here like this. So I do worry a lot about, too, the population. There's a lot of our population that you could traffic that are Indigenous people that unfortunately may have not been looked for. Their families did, because their families love them, but our law enforcement, it's a very huge problem. It's not just in New Mexico, but because we have so much reservation, we have a big problem here with that. And I just want to make sure they're like mentioned, you know?
Yeah, we did a whole video on the bone collector last night.
Oh, yeah.
On the Mesa, and we did a bunch of stuff dealing with that.
Did you see where did you go out to where it happened? Yeah, and but it was crazy. I knew someone who bought a house over there. There was like a stone's throw. And yeah, because it's like a subdivision, basically.
It's very peculiar.
Very much so. Well, and here, law enforcement-wise, unfortunately, the last I knew, our rape kits are backlogged 2 years because there's no one to test them. It's very hard for child victims here. It's very hard for any victim here, really, honestly. There's been a couple high-profile cases lately where there was justice, but we do have a problem with that as well.
I'm gonna ask you. Is that someone on the ranch? You see that?
Oh, I can't even tell.
Moving.
Like it.
I can't even.
By that silo, it was just moving.
It is.
It is, you got it. Did you zoom in?
Look, they're going right there.
See, this is the movement that I talk about, because the movement, it's not these huge things, right? You'll just see people kind of moving around every once in a while. It's very interesting.
White truck?
He's usually parked, I know exactly what truck you're talking about. He's usually parked around Ranch Central near the stables. Or they are. I don't know if it's guy. I'm assuming gender, excuse me. But yeah, so I don't know. But
going in.
A big truck?
Yeah.
There's like a big white
like a box truck.
50 kind of. Oh, it's a box truck.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that's strange. You getting it, Connor?
Yeah, look.
I'm telling you, everything out here is hella weird.
Oh yeah, it is.
And he's going behind the white truck.
Let me see, where's the white truck?
He's ahead of him a good ways.
But they're going the opposite way. Should we launch the drone and then move on to the next location?
We should do that, yes.
Well, of course.
At least the cops already came and left, though, so we could just be like,
like, oh yeah, I talked to those people. They're good.
Yeah,
they look a little sketchy. They all have tattoos though.
Yeah.
So, real quick before we fly the drone, since we got this camera set up, I do want to show you guys that we got this telescope. It's actually ridiculously clear. You can make out like a lot of the ranch. It even looks like there's like a statue out there or something.
You see that there's like a lot of like dirt ramps out there, like they've been tearing down or getting ready to build something. Yeah, so it looks like the same dirt.
I mean, it's really crazy how clear this thing is.
And they have a fucking cell tower on the house.
Really?
Oh, do they?
Look.
Oh yeah, wow.
There in the corner.
They've added, this is what I was saying about electronic stuff, they've added a bunch. They added some over by the airfield too.
Yeah, we saw that.
I pointed that out.
It's new. It's like, and you can look at it and tell it's new because the white on it is still very, very white and it hasn't been there. Like they're planning, I don't know though, because that new guy said he was going to make it a Christian retreat. Are they planning to fly people in here?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
One more thing before we launch this too. What's this white stuff? In addition.
Concrete powder.
It is interesting.
It's probably just from the dump trucks.
Look at that bottle. Doesn't it look like an old bottle?
That's old, yeah. But see, that's what I keep saying about this that's out here. I don't know where this dirt is coming from. Because there's not any construction. Because you guys came from this way and I came up this way. There's no construction.
Even if it is from the ranch, it's weird to think like that. Why would they just dump it out here?
Well, and technically this is like state land.
Yeah.
Look, it's a Stella bottle. It looks old. I wonder when they did these horns. I don't remember seeing that. Look at this.
I told you if you poke around here for too long, you'll find like some weird stuff. So much weird stuff.
Like what is, I don't know, it's just strange. And how does it, why is it empty but the cap is still on? You know, it doesn't really make sense. Like the cap is still attached.
Talent maybe, I don't know.
That's crazy. Or it's some weird witchcraft shit. I mean, it's burned inside of the bottle, which is weird. You see that? Or like there's substance inside of it.
Huh. Hopefully it's not and we just got like ourselves all. Yeah, but we didn't open it, so hopefully we're good.
Yeah, we've been cursed a couple times.
It's not my first rodeo.
You guys see anything else interesting?
Just a large house that nobody's investigated. Yeah, there's grass mixed into this.
See, that's what I mean. Like, I don't know where this came from. And like, there's a lot, like everywhere around here has weeds and grass and stuff. But if you got it from like in the Mesa out here, you'd have a lot more.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, I don't think anyone's mowed out here in a while, you know.
But like, what holes are people digging?
Well, I mean, this would clearly have to come from Zorro Ranch.
Like, what's this?
Right?
And it's very new.
What is it, asphalt?
Like a tiny bit.
Yeah, that's asphalt. I wonder if they're repaving the runway right now with the pretty much Epstein of the 80s. It goes all the way up into the White House too. And I mean, like the guy who was running the whole thing was singing the national anthem at the Republican.
I think that they just get so bored.
See any activity?
We're trying to.
There was like one set of cars moving around, but that was it.
I think I was just watching your videos last night.
Oh, hi. I'm History 860. Yeah. I'm Dava. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Yeah, I was just watching last night, getting an update.
Oh, nice to meet you. I don't know my phone or else I'd like look up your thingy, but yeah.
Yeah.
So there appears to be movement on the ranch that we've seen.
Yep.
And
we just, as we walked down, found, I mean, there's a ton of stuff around here. Even like,
I don't know where this stuff came from, but there's gloves, there's a baby pacifier, rope, Sonic.
And then obviously something smells of death. For months now, I've been reporting on the Jeffrey Epstein case, and finally I'm here in New Mexico, and right behind me is Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch. I'm about to launch a drone and fly it over to the ranch. Let's just get right into this.
No.
Here we go.
There we go.
This is so weird. I'm like emotional.
Windy?
Like seriously, I could cry right now. Like this is just, I'm just so glad.
Maximum flight altitude reached.
That's the Mavic Pro.
Yep.
You know what this is?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
There's been a few people that have stopped. You notice that?
Yeah. Oh, this guy just had to pee.
Oh.
He ran out of his truck and went in front of the door.
There's like nothing around here.
Yeah. I don't know why my heart is like racing right now.
I feel you. I could cry. Like this is like a dream for someone to be out here doing this. I hope that people are really seeing it in an objective way. I mean, people are already. People are already like really excited about it. It'd be nice if we could get law enforcement to do this much, though. No, I'm not even gonna lie about that.
Yeah, right. Okay, see that? I am getting over.
That is so crazy.
There it is.
And it's like recording that?
Oh shit.
So far.
I am.
It's a few meters.
Holy shit, there it is. I'm trying to avoid getting like too close. Yeah.
And we find out if there's any type of interference, any type of counter drone technology in those antennas I see.
I'm not getting anything right now.
Like negative feedback?
Nope.
Nice.
Crystal clear image.
Look at that.
Damn.
Oh my god. Oh wow.
Is the first one to come out here and do this?
Yeah. No one's done
There was
this.
one other guy who flew a drone out here, and then he got kind of harassed. But he was the first one to get pictures or video of the like far side of the house.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Look at that, guys.
It's in such good shape.
Wow. That is Zoro right there, everybody.
See, what are they building out here?
Digging up those bodies. Build over it.
They're digging up a bunch of bodies, if that's the case.
Yeah, there's that big pit. Is that where the Atlantis used to be? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Is that there?
I'm all turned around. Yeah, do you see the helipad anywhere?
No. Let's do a little scan, see if
That's
we
what
see
I-
anybody.
Felt like that where they're digging was where the helipad was.
Like it. Here's all the roads. Alright, so. This is like. I don't know why this is making me like really nervous. There's. So.
Let me see. Yeah, I think that over there I think that was where the helipad was. And that whole, yeah, like that, it looked kind of gardeny.
Yeah, that little thing.
Mm-hmm.
That it's in the shape of Atlantis. You know that maze? I think
Yeah,
that's where that would have
I think
been.
that's exactly where that was.
My heart is
Yeah. No, I can see your hands. You're like
shaking.
Legit, he's like shaking.
Literally, like I've done some sketchy drone flights, but you know, I'm currently
Stakes pretty high on this one.
yeah. And I'm suing the FBI. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Targeting their back.
Yeah.
I'm suing them in Washington D.C. District Court for the release of files related to this other
that I'm doing the docu-series on.
Well, I was telling her, I used to have a pretty big target on my back. I went to prison for accessory to murder, and supposedly we're gonna take out of the senators and congressmen.
That is fucking crazy.
Veteran.
But look at how nice it looks.
I know.
That's kind of, yeah, that's definitely where that was.
Yeah, right?
Why are they digging?
Paranormal
Are they making a
Files.
pool? That couldn't be a pool?
And Conspiracy
No.
Files.
That would be like 7 Olympic swimming pools. Oh my god.
What's that down there? Just a garden area?
Well, and one thing, if you notice about the house, it's built like a fortress. It's a square.
Yeah.
And the middle is like a little entryway. Like I said, I was going to send you that video, but it's built in a square, so you would be kind of trapped in there.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Zoro while we're doing this for the video?
Sure.
It's kind of insane that there's nobody like here and no interference. No.
Well, what I'm
Zero.
noticing a lot with it is just that it's so well maintained. I've said this like a few times, but I haven't seen it this close because I have done a telescopic lens, but it's so close. And the other thing, I was just saying, could they be digging a pool, which there's no way that's a pool, it's gigantic, but there's already a pool there because we know that Virginia was assaulted, who was it? I want to say Lex Wexner, but I could be wrong. It came out in the Epstein file. She was assaulted in a pool room there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's already a pool.
It's an indoor pool.
Yeah. And that's what we're looking at right now. What I think is interesting about that is there's got to be, I mean, am I wrong in assuming there's got to be a lot underground?
There has to be.
Because that's not that big of, like, it's a big house. I'm not saying it's not a big house, but it's not, it feels like there's something we're not seeing.
Wow. So I'm going to push it and go a little bit further out. Look, here's the entry right there.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And see, that's what I was telling you about. So when we were talking about it, there are different security and entry gates all over the property. So just because you were invited to the town doesn't mean that you were welcome in the house. And there are other places on the property where I should have looked up the name before we started, but there are other places on the property where he allowed his friends to build houses. And I believe those are so far back we've never seen those. But there's a lot of different little areas on the ranch and a lot of security around them.
Yeah, I mean, it's f***ing huge. If you actually think about, like, where you could bury a body.
10,000 acres.
Well, and that's
okay, so help me figure this out. So this is the front facing this way. Where should I fly if I want to go back that direction?
If you want to go back that direction? Like, what do you mean?
Like, if I want to go, you know, where we pointed out on that map? Should I just go, like, this?
Yeah.
Just...
I think that would be, because it was a pretty straight shot, remember?
Yeah, let's...
So try that.
I don't know how far this thing will go.
You guys okay?
Shit.
Oh, I forgot the dogs were there. That scared me.
I thought that was like a little alarm or something. We better be careful not to collide up there, dude.
Right.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
I'm at 265.
So yeah, going
I'll stay around 300. You want to stay around half that?
Perfect. This is my max right here.
with Zoro, that's what you're seeing right there. A lot of it is, there's a lot of trails and paths there. Some of them state owned, but very few. There's no hiking trail to get there though, or to get even near there. And there's a lot of random little buildings, and it's just strange.
It's kind of insane how much is actually back there. Oh, sorry, buddy.
And like, even though it feels like we're seeing like a lot of the ranch and the land, because we're seeing about 3 miles of the front of it, there's a ton behind that too.
Almost there. Almost there.
Including the state land they can't access.
Getting tight on signal.
Yeah, I'm getting patchy.
Got 3 bars. So close. Dude, that is huge. That hole.
It's what, I don't know what that could be for.
Digging up all the bodies that might be there.
You think
Spawning a pool.
you think it like that might have been where the helipad was?
It was, yeah, that's where the helipad was, yeah. Because what they did with the helipad is they had that little kind of gardening thing around it, and then there was the middle spot but there's also an additional landing strip and helipad that way.
I wonder if they're just.
Can you grab my phone? Sorry, I
It
want
could
to.
have been part of the underground facility too. They probably concrete and this dirt, asphalt and shit.
Well, that's what, and if they were getting rid of the helipad, I'm guessing that would be asphalt or something like that.
Yeah.
So you see this? Here's where the ranch is right here.
Mhm.
So I went back here. So I need to go. It's behind the airplane.
So like that way?
Do you see the strip? Is this the strip right here?
There's a little red, like house on it. Or not house, it's like an airplane hangar kind of.
It's so confusing.
There's a lot back there. It's crazy.
It's like,
See how the house is already built, kind of underground.
yeah.
That's,
Lines
yeah.
underground.
That's what we were just saying is the top of the house is not the largest.
Yeah, all the house. So
There's gotta be
all
more.
all that plateau could be facility.
Mm-hmm.
When I was commenting on the way the house is built, it's built like a little fortress.
Oh yeah. Dude, my little drone made it.
Really?
Nice.
I'm bouncing around between three
Is this the
bars.
house you're talking about?
Yeah, how about the
What
house?
is this?
Is that water?
I don't know.
Looks kind of like water or something. Maybe not. What is that? That looks like a tank, don't you think? Like that?
That definitely is a tank or some shit. Shit, I started descending on accident.
See, I've never seen a lot of this.
Like, can you tell where this is based on this map?
Get that right there. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh yeah, whatever. Oh, no, that's the airstrip. That.
Keep your eyes open for out in the bushes a little bit here and there and see if they're taking.
Gosh, this is harder than you would think it would be.
Yeah, I can't find where
That
this.
little ravine, I'm pretty suspicious of.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, you found it?
I actually found it.
Nice.
See that?
Yes. Okay, and it's a little circle too. Yes, you
Yeah.
found it.
So I need to go,
Go
that direction.
That direction, yeah.
Okay, let's see this. Where's the circle? There's the circle. Go over there.
Flight altitude reached.
God damn, this thing can really get over. Do you? I already. Oh, it's right here. Okay. So basically, see how those.
Is that little mountain thing like that little mountain thing?
There seems to be a structure. Oh, you see that? Is that this? Is that over here? God damn, I can't fucking tell. There's so much property.
Well, and that's a hard part out here, especially once you get into the New Mexico desert. It all looks very similar. It's just tumbleweeds and dirt.
It's kind of. Holy shit.
Playing with rocks.
Those dogs are hilarious. Excuse me.
Okay, so.
He's like, nope, I'm investigating. The dogs are investigating as well. Oh, sorry.
Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me.
That's my daughter's text tone, and I have her on emergency, so even though my phone's on silent.
I almost got over there and I f***ing ran out of battery.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. And I just gave you a heart attack.
Let's hope we can make it back. It's pretty far away.
I gotta head back myself quick.
It's returning to home right now. I'm gonna have to land this. I don't want the dogs to.
Well, it'll hover before it lands, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna make it back?
No, I'll make it back. Hopefully.
Oh
And if we don't, we're trespassing.
You're like, technically I'm retrieving my property.
Yeah.
There's the airstrip, I think, or maybe.
I think you're right. Yes, that's what that is. Because the airstrip's not like super giant or anything. It's just this like little kind of thing.
There's so much land.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, I really fucking got over there. This is making me nervous.
Poor thing, you're gonna need a Xanax after this.
I know, I'm fucking sober. Sadly, I can't even kill the pain.
Oh my gosh. I'm sober too, so I feel you on that.
You're sober?
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm a recovered meth addict. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's what we do. I mean, but the Breaking Bad thing's not all cliche, you know? There's not much to do here. Especially for a teenager.
Hey, we've had things to do and still made these decisions.
Fair. Maybe I'm just making excuses, right? Like, condoning my actions.
Hey, we've all been there.
Talk about it like drinking over. It's just what we do here.
Yeah, it's true.
We throw pizzas on people's roofs and stuff, you know? Oh, that lady gets so mad. It's so funny. It's not funny because I feel bad for her.
She sold it.
But yeah, oh, she did. Good for her. Because she got so mad. I can get it, but then I don't. I'm like, wait, you know, I'll get in between. But like, people just kept throwing pizzas. Should have put up a big old gate.
We're getting closer.
Oh, God.
I see the road. Really cruising fucking slow, though. Is that not? Jesus. I don't know why this
It'll
makes
make
me
it.
so nervous.
We'll send good vibes into the universe. It'll make it.
Quick, give me some of that dirt. I'm gonna rub it on the controller. Wow, I'm shocked. I'm shocked no one came and said anything, to be honest.
That's the thing I've noticed out here is that you would think that you would get more resistance because there have been people who have, but really the only way they bother you is if you get on the property.
Yeah.
Then they'll like I was saying. Exactly. And like I was saying.
Federal property.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it's also the fact that if they start getting mad at people for doing what we're doing, it makes things way more suspicious.
It seems more
for them.
sketchy. Yeah. And that would be a feat considering everything else that's happened.
Yeah.
But it's possible.
All right, folks, we should start hearing it.
Okay, what's your altitude? I'm coming in on that too.
I'm 119.
All right, I'm 220. I'll hold there until I'm above it.
I'm like almost back.
That's so fancy.
Same time. This time, what I'm gonna do too, when I go out, I'm gonna pay attention to how much battery it takes to get out there.
Smart.
I'm gonna reserve that much for
Very
the
smart.
Sadly, we only have one battery.
Yeah.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah.
Dang it. You got any fast chargers?
No.
I do. You want to charge the battery again?
This battery has
Huge.
a very specific charger.
I have a 2200 watt power inverter in there.
I don't think we have the charger with us.
Yeah, it's.
That's crazy.
I'll show you when we land it.
The battery's fucking huge.
I'm above us too. We can't see you though.
I see you.
All right.
That's so high tech. Oh my gosh.
We got Connor.
Don't hit the rock.
I know.
You're good.
I'm trying to back up a little bit. It won't let me go fucking left or right. All right. Whatever. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, that was cool.
Nice.
You know,
High fives all around.
High five. That was cool.
Connor?
We don't have the charger.
No, it's back at our Airbnb, but you could look.
Sound good.
Congrats, man.
We both got back. And we both returned.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no.
That is crazy.
We haven't been kidnapped, and we still have our drones.
There we
And
go.
Don't say that
came,
yet.
So that's good.
So, successful flight. I'm still shaking a little bit from that. That was extremely nerve-wracking, not only just what we were doing, but the battery dying.
Yeah, it almost didn't make it back. Like, that's not even a joke.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
But hopefully people can slow that footage down and analyze and look for things that might not have been seen before.
Absolutely. And I just want to say thank you guys so much. And thank you to everyone who is coming out here and who is talking about this, because every bit of knowledge and information about this place can only do good in the future, even if it helps us in future situations. So I just really appreciate you guys taking the time and doing all of this, because drone, that I've been wanting that to happen. And I think a lot of people have. So thank you guys.
Crazy that we were the ones to get it done, baby.
I know, right? I'm right now, like seriously, like.
Wow. Well, all right. Let's wrap. We've
Thank
still
you.
got more to do. Holy shit, guys. So it's 5:30 right now, and we're now moving to another part of Zorro Ranch. I cannot believe we actually were able to get that drone up. And right when we were about to get to the part that a lot of people have been asking questions about, the drone died, and it gave me like a heart attack waiting for it to come over. But I mean, she's incredible. She knows so much. And right now we are stopping by a very infamous location, and this is, I mean, it's right here. This is the front gate to Zorro Ranch, and it's really hard to miss. And it's also just shocking because, yeah, you're gonna see there's, so people have left stuff.
Someone stopped there now.
Hey, look at that. Look, there's memorial flowers right there. All right, you can shoot this. Oh shit, oh my God. Oh my God! Did you see that?
I did see that.
Oh my God, she almost got into a fucking accident! Holy shit!
They sent their operatives. They're trying to kill us.
Jesus Christ. Did you get that on camera?
I think I might have.
Alright. That was wild.
I live here, so I'm kind of used to it. But people here drive like that, so.
Yeah.
I could tell. Holy shit.
This like good.
This is perfect.
Yeah, this is great. Before I get out, so, like you just pointed out, I can zoom in on them, but there's flowers way down there on that guardrail.
This guy right here stopping to take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how can you not? This is like the front entrance to Dr. Evil's lair, or hell.
Oh, you're gonna see the no trespassing sign way better right here. And at the very bottom it says Rancho San Remo.
I mean, I can't believe that these people actually have their car broke down in front of
They put the statue.
What statue?
That says that you can't.
It's a criminal offense to take this gun.
Statue.
Oh no, statue.
In New Mexico, roadside memorials, traditionally known as descansos, are protected under state law. So they can't remove it.
They can't take it down.
That's awesome.
I wonder who did this. I would love to know. Oh, and they left chalk.
Teddy bear.
And there's the box with like a picture of some kids on it.
I just saw that.
I would like to know the sequel. Huh. But yeah, see the no trespassing signs that says like the new ranch name, so these are new.
I love how they say, please, no trespass.
But please is really
It's
small.
very, that's what I was gonna say, it's very small.
Look, someone's coming down the road, actually.
Perfect.
You see that? It's actually a car.
I don't, but I'm a blind bastard, so.
Right there, I see their headlight on the camera.
And the new fences, I mean, it's spectacular compared to the old one. And the street sign change and everything, it's actually, it was kind of crazy to come out here and see all that though.
Mm-hmm.
This is just like such a crazy, like, looking memorial to me. I mean, wow. When we drove by this coming in here, I like screamed to Connor, I'm like, dude, there it fucking is.
Well, and the first one that
Here
someone
they come.
put out there was over there, and they took it down, like within like a day, yeah. But it did have a big sign that said, like, it was like Trump, he's like, there was something else on it and stuff, so it wasn't quite as like, it was a little different, but yeah. And it wasn't like here, it was over there, I don't know. But they put flowers, it was really sweet. I forget the creator who did it, I think Patriot something or another, but he was making a lot of videos about this on TikTok. So that was good. Yeah, there's a whole
very
person.
slow.
I know. Trust me, I'm getting it right now.
And these poor people over here, their car broke down like right in
I
front of
can't
this
believe
place.
that that's where their car would break down.
Maybe it's the energy of this place. Oh, who's that? There's a person.
You see what
Oh,
I
the
mean?
gate's electric. I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Oh, they're going back.
Going back in. Yeah, I wish we had brought some flowers or something.
I know. I didn't even think about that.
Look at that. There she.
Oh, we don't want to be photographed?
Huh?
Huh?
He doesn't want to be photographed. He's like backing back into the ranch all the way.
I know, I saw that.
That's weird.
Was there a sign on the side of the truck?
I didn't see. Okay.
Isn't that weird? That they would come out and then back
That's
in?
just like Bohemian Grove.
Man, that's some f***ing weird
That's
shit
weird.
right there.
It's intimidation tactics.
Oh, I'm so scared. Biting my nails.
I know where he parks. He parks over on the other side of Ranch Central.
Wow.
That was the weirdest thing. Are you testing the gate? I don't understand.
It's weird. Let's look at this memorial too before we head out, Connor.
Oh, yeah.
See this right?
Mm-hmm.
That's so sweet. And they must have been out here recently because the flowers are dying, but they're not totally dead. And there's a... It seems like there's a picture on that one, too.
Loving memory. We honor you. That's a card.
Oh, it's a card. That is so sweet.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm so glad people are coming out here and doing stuff like that. Like, this is like... Oh my gosh, this is everything. This is literally everything. Because people we should have been talking about this, but it's never too late. And oh, is the gate closed again?
Mm-hmm.
How weird is that? To actually come out and then he looked right at my camera and then he backed all the way in.
Maybe you didn't want to be filmed.
I wouldn't want to be associated with this ranch either.
It's just funny how he like kind of crept back in, you know?
Just put it in reverse and...
We're like, what the f? Where's this guy go?
Makes you wonder, is that someone who we would have known who they were? Because, like, what does it really matter?
That's a good point.
I mean, really, if you're like just John Doe or something like that, you're not gonna care if somebody gets your picture.
Yeah, John Doe, of course not.
Yeah, just like...
I know a couple of John Does.
Not that kind of...
There's a lot of those out there.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Well, you want to go to the other location?
Yeah, it's good. It's right down here, and I'll try not to die on the way. So
Okay,
that'll be...
that'd be great.
That's what we do.
Here you go.
And see here, if you just walk on the other side of the entrance gate, and even from right here, see right here, what you're seeing, that's the firehouse right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it down there.
Yeah. Where'd he go?
He's went back to the city. I can see him. He's
Oh, I
pulling
see
up
him.
to
I
the
actually
firehouse.
Yeah.
I'm zoomed in on him.
The most activity I've ever seen is in Ranch Central.
Wow. The front gate to hell.
They really beefed it up. I think the only part of it that's still original are the fence right here and those two wooden pillars. That's really the only thing that's original. Everything else they built, that's all cinder block too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
All right. Well, guys, say we move on now.
On to the next.
That poor kid. Car's got to break down right here. That sucks.
Car breaks down on the side of Epstein Ranch. All right, so you can clearly see the sun is setting. We are now going around Zoro. This is all Zoro property right here. This is all the ranch, which is insane. But we're going to another side entrance area, which, according to her, will show us the ranch in a closer view. Now, I want to remind everybody, those allegations about bodies being buried, I mean, they could be anywhere. Technically, the tip that came in said that they were off the ranch, so they could be there. They could be on this ridge up here. I mean, like, imagine taking a helicopter, if you got, like Epstein had a helicopter anywhere around here and just
throw them out.
Yeah. Here we are. It's so beautiful, yet it's so haunting, man. I like her bumper sticker. We're grown-ups now, so piss off. Well, before we lose all light, are you rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm rolling now. So where have you taken us?
So right here you can see a better view of the back of the house, and you can see, I think it's a water tower, but it may be, I mean, honestly, it does kind of look like a duck blind over here. And then you can also see, like, it's back there. See his car, he has a truck, that's cool. If you look over here, this is a natural installation that is listed, when the property sold, that was listed as kind of like this is in the area and it's amazing. As much as the property is, I'm pretty sure that is right on the edge of their property, but there are no trails up there to hike on it, which is also very strange because it's kind of a natural installation. But yeah, this is where I first saw all of that digging equipment that was out here when they started digging everything up. And that, I can't say how new it was. The last time I was out here before I saw that was November. But yeah, they've done a lot, like we saw in your drone footage. There's a huge, I don't even know what that could be for. I mean, what would you, like?
It is
giant circular pit.
It's like they're making a stone quarry out there.
Or like, are we doing like a dirt bike track? No, I don't want to give him ideas because he's gonna be like, actually.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
That's what it is.
We've got dirt bikes. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is where I saw the building equipment or the digging equipment when I was here last time, and you can just see a better view of this backside and how much the house looks like a friggin' fortress.
Mm-hmm.
It is like insane, I think. I mean, I've studied this story for years, and it was my first video I did on Conspiracy Files, my second channel, and like good friends with the guy who like published Epstein's Black Book. And when you read about Zorro Ranch, you like I understood that it was big and it's on a lot of property, but like standing here, it's like holy there's so much land, and it's like even on camera you can't even capture it. It goes like even just to the house. I thought the house would be like closer to the road. No, it's like way over there.
Oh yeah, it's miles away.
It's crazy.
That's kind of the thing is people who are coming out here, you have to have telescopic lenses. You have to have, like most of the pictures that I've been able to take with my actual camera, I use a lens that's to photograph like airplanes because that's how far it is. And even then you can't, the way that it's built, you can't get like the inside or anything.
It's so weird out here too, you know, it's got that mystical feel. Like, like we are, obviously we've done paranormal for like 10 years, and you know when an area has a vibe or an energy. To me, it doesn't feel like scary, it feels very weird out here.
Like ominous.
Yeah, just something's like not right. Even with the terrain, it just is like such a weird terrain around here.
Well, out here I wonder a lot too, how did he find this?
Right.
Because it wasn't up for sale when he bought it, from what I understand. I could be wrong, and if I am, I'd love somebody fact check me, but how did he come about this? He must have already had a lot of connections in politics or something, because obviously he got it from a governor. But this is in the middle of nowhere. I don't know many people that are looking to buy property out here.
No.
You know, the same like 5 people own everything. And it was so expensive, even for the time it was expensive. And yeah, I just don't, there had to be the plan for this from the beginning, or at least some machinations of that plan.
And it's so weird too, like, why here? Yeah. Like, I get the island and I get the house in Palm Beach and I understand the New York house, but in the middle of, and I like your explanation with the consent, age of consent being lower here, and that's why he's choosing New Mexico, amongst other things, but it's just so weird. Like, you're really out here. People online won't ever understand, like, even how much work it was for us to just like drive here. You're going through the middle of nowhere.
And the thing about it is, out here, one of my theories about why he did end up out here is people forget, like, people from Albuquerque, I've had people argue with me about this, but seriously, people think that this is Mexico. Nobody knows that New Mexico is a state. A lot of people don't. I've had people just literally last week when I was in Utah, I had someone compliment me for how well I spoke English. And I was like,
are you serious?
yeah, no, really.
No way.
Seriously, I've had people ask me if I need a passport to get to the United States.
What?
Yeah, so down here, we're so hidden. Like, we've got, you know, this is kind of on subject, but kind of off, but you know about the Catholic sexual abuse crisis, right? One of the biggest places that they sent those priests was right here in Jemez, New Mexico. It's called Servants of the Paraclete. And yeah, and that closed in 1994, but that's another place that was never investigated.
And that was like the actual just like rehab center for priest pedophiles, right?
Yes, it actually started. I took a whole class on it, interestingly enough, because we have that here, and our archdiocese is completely bankrupt in Santa Fe because of how many cases there were here. But they were sending priests from all over the country here, and it was basically a retreat for them they had a bowling alley, they had a pool, huge grounds. And yeah, they came here, and some of them stayed forever, but for the most part, they were reassigned, and largely, we were talking about missing and murdered indigenous people earlier, and our reservations, they were largely distributed into lower income, non-English speaking areas. They, of course, historians don't want to say that was the reason, but that was the reason, and so much stays hidden here. And I think that that's something that anyone who's really spent any appreciable amount of time here can understand. So if you want to get away with something, this sounds like an advertisement. I don't want it to sound like that, but come to New Mexico. Yeah, they're going to have me on the next, with the little, our sunset trip, New Mexico.
The safe haven for criminals.
Exactly. Just come here. But no, really, it's just people forget we're here. And our governmental systems don't always do what they're supposed to do with these sorts of things. So I think that probably played a very large factor. And he had a lot of friends here, like Bill Richardson and the King family, and they are still, Richardson's gone, but they were up until their deaths very influential people. And yeah, our legislation needs to do something about it. It's been too long. You can't ignore it anymore.
We're talking about not just sex crimes against women, minors, children. We're talking about potential illicit medical procedures and stealing of human embryos, according to victims, and murder. There could be dead bodies somewhere around here, and they're just not doing anything.
Well, there's one thing that's so seldom talked about. They're talking about it a little bit here, but with Epstein's empire, do you mean to tell me there were no children born? No one ever got pregnant? No one had a reason to maybe hide a pregnancy? None of that ever happened? I don't believe that. And so where did all of those children go? If they are out there. And if they're not, and I'm wrong, I would be glad to be wrong, but there's just so many things that don't happen. Yeah, that's a lot.
I gotta give it to him though. It's beautiful out here.
Oh, no, especially you get the sunset over there, and it's gorgeous.
Imagine actually just being a good person and owning this place. The sunset view, looking over the valley, got a nice dinner, maybe head down to the hot tub underneath the house.
I don't know any good person who would buy this place, to be perfectly fair, but I can't imagine. Can you imagine you're going on a retreat and you come here and you get to the vibes of this area? Although I guess some of those, I don't know if those people are the greatest with vibes, but it feels bad.
Yeah, this would definitely be an energetic area where I would steer clear.
That's actually. I'd probably come here because that's what we like to look for is these kinds of areas.
You guys would intentionally, but anyone who wasn't looking for that.
Yeah, non-psychopaths.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it is gorgeous out here, and New Mexico itself is gorgeous, and that's one of the things that I don't want to put across it New Mexico's bad or this horrible. It's beautiful here. There are amazing people. Lock your car. It's a great place here. We got our stuff like everywhere else, but I wish that we could really get this taken care of and show people the place New Mexico can be.
Yeah, the place that America could be.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie. Look at this sunset.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
The pink clouds.
You get pinks, purples, oranges. It's gorgeous out here.
Pink is my favorite color. And his sister is gonna absolutely love these pictures because she loves sunsets. So I gotta send a couple. Wow. Too bad Epstein was.
The guy stopped back there.
Who? Just explain why I'm filming.
This white truck was stopped behind us. You'd say, how far back you think?
I'd say probably, 200, 500 feet maybe?
And then
Bit of a
just
wave.
slowly drove past us.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice. I was facing this way the whole time.
Yeah, and it was a big white truck, kind of like the one that we saw over there. I don't know
Yeah.
if it was the same truck, but it looks similar.
Oh, he went that way, so I guess.
Did he pull over again?
It looks like he pulled over almost. See those red lights?
Yeah, we'll see if he turns back around.
Watch, he just drives by and just beep beep.
No, he's gonna drive by it.
Not
Oh look,
beep,
he's
beep,
turning.
boom.
He's actually there's a blinker.
Oh, that's weird. There's been so many weird things out here.
Can you zoom in on that on your phone, Connor? See if you can get down there on him. This zoom kind of sucks. But he was like casing us out, you're saying, almost?
Kinda.
Not with video.
Maybe it's just the truck coming back to like kill me because I almost killed him.
Oh, he scared the shit out of me. Oh my
We're
god.
just joking about someone running us over.
I just got harassed.
Really?
I was just I'm trying to fucking chase the dude. No, we just had a standoff and everything, dude. He called the cops on me. Yeah.
White truck?
That's him? Hey, he got out, taking pictures of my license plate, came in my window, was taking pictures of all this stuff inside my car. I got in his face, he got in my face, then he tried to get in this truck. So I parked my wheelchair in front of his truck so he couldn't leave.
Is that him with his lights off?
Yeah, I parked in front of his truck so he couldn't leave, then he called the police on me. I said, we can play this game. Yeah, that's that motherfucker right there. I got his license plates.
Why was he harassing you?
Why was he taking pictures of the interior of my vehicle, my possessions?
Why was... What? This is a little bit spooky, is it not?
He's pulling over.
What'd you guys get me into?
Oh man, we're not doing anything. We're
Yeah.
just sitting here. Look, she's taking a video of us.
So box him in. I'll park in front of you, park behind so he can't leave. Hey, I said, what you doing out here protecting pedophiles?
Man, that is so bizarre, dude. Look, someone's flashing us. Did you see that?
Yeah. He's coming back.
What do you think that would be?
Oh, that's probably a copy bet.
Oh shit, look, it is a cop.
Yeah, record it.
I got it. I'm
Keep
recording.
keep everything running.
What did you guys get me into?
I mean, we've been here for the last,
Oh, I know. Yeah, exactly.
like, we didn't...
Is that the same one? Hi. Hi,
Yeah,
guys.
I
I
know.
couldn't tell because of the lights are.
Sorry. Yeah.
What I do for you, sir?
All right, let me go see what his problem is. But let me see what his issue is, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll chill.
There's nothing he can do about it.
Really, really weird. I have literally.
It's fine. The cop doesn't care.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't like even give half a shit.
Getting the cops called on us at Zorro Ranch.
Oh my god.
I mean...
And why is that guy being... And guess what? There's a blonde woman in the passenger seat.
Oh yeah, did you see that?
I didn't. I thought I saw a kid in the car.
No, there's a
blonde
There's a
woman.
blonde
She was
lady?
taking a photo
short
of us.
blonde lady in the passenger seat.
See, that would make sense.
No wonder they're so aggressive.
But what is the deal too? Like, why are they like? What? I don't.
Why are they so freaked out?
I just don't understand. You know what I mean? And to call the cops and stuff, that's so weird. Oh my god, are they parked back there? Is that why
Yeah.
he's like walking? Me and my little nosy ass, I'm like. Okay, well.
You ask him why he's taking pictures of the inside of my vehicle?
Don't do that. Oh my god.
Yeah, we're in the middle of something we weren't even a part of.
This is not.
So right now, this is our second encounter with the police today. Super nice cop.
Same police.
Same cop. He's super nice.
But apparently
The Zorro Ranch people aren't very happy that people are around here taking videos.
Yeah.
Oh, they have to be. I'm sure that they
I
have.
guarantee that's just the same people that were...
As you know, the least information, the better, but we were still doing nothing wrong.
Yeah, of course.
Figures though, right?
Of course, I'm with you, man.
Out here on the beat.
This day has taken an interesting turn.
Yes, I have accomplices now, you guys.
At least there's witnesses for all of us, though, right? We're all each other's witnesses.
Yeah, no, we're in this together.
They can't kidnap all of us.
It's like High School Musical. We're all in this together.
Yeah, they can't kidnap all of us. Maybe one. If there's one group out here by themselves.
Well, we already talked to that
They
police
came for
officer.
questioning.
Yeah, it's...
He was super nice. He's the one who came out when you told you the cops came out earlier. He's the one who came out. He was super nice.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And why'd they come out earlier?
He was just checking.
Or there was like a.
They have an open.
Oh, an
call.
open.
Well, they better get used to it, dude.
Yeah.
You're the center of the world's biggest controversy.
Yeah, this is like the #1 news story on planet
Craziest thing
Earth.
to ever happened on planet Earth, actually.
It's right there.
If aliens, you know, they're going to try to tell us aliens are real now, but that's not going to do anything to cast shade over this.
Yeah, of course.
Unless they're willing to help us bring pedophiles to justice, then I don't care.
No, that's, I mean, that's why we're here, man. But just,
This is weird though. We're in a weird limbo where it's like I want to like.
I'm just gonna save that for right now and probably like do a video and then be like, hey guys, so how was me?
Yeah, about our experience right now.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, what a sequence. Oh my god, your hands are sweaty.
Cops make me so nervous.
Sweaty? No, they're not.
Yeah, cops make
Feel.
me nervous. Even when I'm not doing anything, they make me nervous. And like, because I feel like I did something. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
That's just because we've done bad stuff in the past.
That's true. Those are your demons, young lady. Oh my god.
No, anytime I get pulled over, I'm like,
Do you think this counts
oh,
as
I'm
like,
good.
do you think this counts as red light therapy?
Yeah.
Okay,
for
cool.
sure.
It seems like they don't have a problem with y'all three, but they said like you are pretty aggressive and yelling at them, so that's why the husband got pretty amped up. So
Well,
anyway,
they came, I was minding my own business.
So they just want to de-escalate things. That's what
Right.
they're asking for. So they did
Well, I mean-
come out of the ranch.
Right.
They're the new owners, and they said right now they're all getting pretty harassed or whatever. Again, they said y'all three were respectful and good. You were escalating. You were taking photos. So they started. The guy goes, yeah. So I started taking photos.
No,
back.
that's
Whatever the
definitely
case.
not
Yeah.
happening. You guys gonna investigate the place soon with New Mexico? Apparently we get enough witness statements, enough evidence together that
I think that
you guys
that
will launch
kind
an
of
investigation.
investigation will probably go above a county sheriff's office level. That'll probably be like the
Right.
state AG's office, or
Right.
even
I hope so soon.
That'd probably be like the highest state agency I think you could go into, but not a local county sheriff's office.
You know, it's just kind of funny that the files dropped and there's claims of bodies being buried on the property. So
Yeah.
they announced renovations and they got digging equipment out there now. And
See, I never looked into anything with
Yeah.
any of that or heard
That's why
anything.
we're-
But everybody I
Just
talked to is
looking.
like, "Why are you protecting dead bodies?" I'm like, "Guys, I don't know
Right.
anything." I'm sorry, man.
It ain't up to you.
Come on,
but-
dude. What are
Yeah.
you doing, man?
Yeah.
Come on. It's all your
Look,
fault.
I'm a county sheriff deputy. Man. I still got to follow a lot of rules before I could go do something. But
Right.
again, can I get your ID just so I can say I'm in contact with you? I got that gentleman's ID, so
Yeah.
I just want to check. And y'all three weren't really involved, right?
No, we were down
down
here when all that happened. We didn't even see it.
Do they have to know who I am? I don't want to be
No,
harassed
man,
by
I
the
got-
deep
I
state.
put-
Okay.
He call or you?
The deep state.
Yeah, I definitely.
What a situation, man. This is fucking stressing me out.
Yeah, this is stressful.
It's like almost on the edge of like it could be taken to like if someone says the wrong thing, you know?
Well, and considering what's going on out here, we are all now on body cam. So.
Oh, well, that's true.
And that guy's a straight up liar. You're being extra aggressive. That's why I pulled out my phone and started filming you.
I say we need to tread lightly because these
Oh, yeah.
people are connected to.
Yeah, they're connected.
This has been such a weird day.
It's been a very weird day. Well, that's what I was telling you guys. Everything out here is weird.
I think now they're definitely on watch.
Yeah.
Well, they've probably been watching us all day. Let me see if they.
Okay. Too. Partner.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you.
And thank you for everything. I hope you have a.
Thank you, man. Take care. You guys too.
All right, you too, sir.
Dude, we're definitely
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I was like, we're not. Yeah.
Holy shit! I'm sorry to get you roped into all this.
Oh, it's fine. I've been coming up here for years, never had a problem. But now I.
How old do you think I am?
Oh, don't fucking do that to me, bro.
Please, we gotta hear this. We asked this to everyone.
So if you
I want to guess low.
Alright, just guess.
Because okay, hold on.
45.
I'm gonna give you
Preserved.
All right.
You're like
29.
Damn, that was the nicest someone's ever been to me.
How old are
I'm
you?
26.
Okay, I was gonna say you have to.
I'm just way off. What the fuck?
I
thought you were
45. Well,
You look young, but you're old.
I have a lot of wrinkles, and when you smile, like, see when I smile, I get all that right there.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have any of that.
How old do I look now?
I'm gonna say like
Smile.
39.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go like 37 to 39.
I'm 41.
Oh,
nice.
Not
There
bad,
you go.
not bad.
I only get. Well, you know, you can fix that. I only get wrinkles.
Oh, this way?
No, they did a U-turn.
There they go.
Full dark out here yet, and like, look.
There he goes. The owners of Zorro.
Oh my god, what a day! I've never seen that.
that was insane.
All right, so what just happened? I don't really know. We were getting all of those shots and everything, and then all of a sudden, that pickup goes by us, and She pointed it out and said, that looks like the car that was just there or whatever, and it was right behind us. And then our friend came back, and he was talking about how they were harassing him, and they called the police. Then the police show up, then the owners of Epstein Zorro Ranch show up, and all of a sudden, we're in the middle of a pickle with the owners of the goddamn ranch, which is so weird. But now, we're out here, man. It's nighttime, and
spooky.
Listen to it. The silence is deafening, dude. I mean, guys, this stretches all... I mean, this is an Epstein property, but this is all Zorro Ranch right here. And you can see up there the lights. They actually have lights on in the main house, and there appears to be another structure that they've got lights on. And before we do our spirit box, we're not going to spend too much more time here because...
We don't want the cops to come again.
Yeah, that was more than enough. But I've got these infrared goggles. You should use yours too. Use the other pair. Yeah. Alright. I'm recording. Oh. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna look over in this direction. There's so much land around here. Lots of land, eh?
Lots of land.
Alright, enough of that. It's really interesting how with these binoculars you can clearly see multiple lights. I think there's a bright light at the house.
Multiple bright lights at the house.
Yeah,
and then the one next to it.
Then there's a smaller house that the lights are on, and then if you look, it's interesting. It's invisible to the naked eye, but next to those,
there's a glow.
Well, yeah, there's those two lights, and then there's another light that's in there.
Yeah, in the trees.
Yeah, in the trees right there. You see that?
Also, you notice the glow behind the house?
Yeah. There's that water tower thing. Yeah, even in the distance, it's like I don't see any other lights or anything. But yeah, right there, I mean the main house. There's a whole lot going on. You want to do the spirit box?
Yeah.
So, originally we were going to go do a spirit box and a bunch of investigating and use a metal detector over by the property line, but based on what just happened, we are not comfortable doing that anymore. Just because, I mean, not only did the property owners actually come out to harass us, but this is fucking Jeffrey Epstein and the FBI and the U.S. government covering this up. So I don't want to push it that much. But you can see those lights over there. That is Zorro Ranch. Let me zoom in. Where's the damn focus? Oh, I'm zooming in.
Check.
You can really see it well with this camera. Imagine how eerie that's got to be up there. So anyways, when it comes to the Epstein story and the documents that have recently been released that we talked about earlier today, the main thing that people seem to talk about and kind of the main allegation is that, I mean, obviously we know and that a lot of people believe that there were multiple people murdered here, whether they were teenagers, children, babies, adults, and they really could be just about anything. But there's a specific document that states 2 girls were strangled to death during a sex act. I just saw it weird. What the f? Did you see that? Well, there was a fucking flash of light out there, dude. You didn't see anything? I swear I just saw like a flashlight out there. Oh, right there.
A flashlight?
I don't know. I don't know what I just saw.
Freaking me out, man.
It looked like a flash of light, like right there. Anyways, so that document that talks about those 2 girls, it alleges that they were buried outside of the bounds of Zorro Ranch. So right now we're sitting outside of Zorro Ranch across the street, and we're gonna do a little bit of a spirit box session to see if we can get any answers. I mean, guys, and a lot of you, if you're new to this channel, you might have never seen us do a proper paranormal investigation, but we believe in this stuff. We really want to treat this with respect. We're not trying to sensationalize this. We're really here for answers. I believe in this. Connor believes in this. We want to see, because not only are there potentially bodies buried somewhere in this area right around here, but you also got to remember, this is like fucking desert, dude. This is like there could be all sorts of different spirits and energies out here that would have seen things happen. So without further ado, so if you've never seen a spirit box before, these things scan through radio frequencies rapidly, and a lot of people theorize that spirits are able to project their voices on these different frequencies. Now, I want to state, it doesn't matter whether you believe in spirits or energies or monsters, God, angels, demons. To me, all of that is speaking to the same thing. It's all energy, and I believe that there's something out there that's an intelligence beyond us, and so hopefully we can tap into that. Let's just ask some questions. My name is Colin Browen.
My name's Connor Shannon.
And we are here to try speak to anyone that might have information about what happened at the ranch right over there behind us. Is there somebody here with us right now? Can you say your name? Veronica, I heard.
White.
You know what? So, to start this off, I just want to make sure we could be talking to someone. Do you know the name of the guy who owned that ranch over there? He's pretty famous. His last name starts with an E. Jeffrey Epstein! Bro. Okay, I'm trying to not get too excited, but I'm sorry, that was just crazy. So, can you say that one more time by chance? Because that was really good and really clear. I heard Epstein.
I cannot believe we got Jeffrey Epstein.
So there are a lot of people that think that there are bodies buried around here somewhere. Is that true?
Is this a diaper? Look at this, Connor. Is this an old diaper?
Yes.
Are there bodies buried around here of people that died on the ranch? 4.
Taken.
(2010).
Probably dead.
Wanna ask something?
Are there tunnels underneath the house across the street?
Are you a cop?
No, I'm not a cop.
Sounds like there are bodies buried around here. I know that we're asking you a lot really quickly, but we're really trying to find these victims to provide closure to their families and find some justice. Can you point us in a direction where they're buried?
Freaking me out.
Why?
Keep looking over my shoulder.
There's lights.
They're jealous? Passing away? Stop calling?
Where are these bodies buried? Are they on the mesa, on the ridge, on the ranch, to my left, right?
There's one. Outside of here?
Street.
On the street?
She once made out. Let's walk across the street. So, right here we're standing on the shoulder of the road, legally, but we're on the border of Epstein's ranch. To any of the spirits that we've been talking to, whether you were present here, maybe your life ended here, I don't know. Are there bodies buried in front of us in this area? Trump. Thousands.
Out there.
How many bodies are there? Can you give us a number? We really just want justice for the victims.
Ten?
Can you say that clearer? Oh shit. Jesus. There's a crackle in the grass. That was a snake. You hear that? How many? Can you say how many? 10.
Where are they buried? Are they buried somewhere around here? Intelligence. Are they buried around here, or are they off of this property?
They also
Holy shit, you feel that wind from this semi? That is the call of death, my friend.
Can you tell us if the bodies are to my right or to my left?
Just say right or left.
To your right.
Can you say that one more time clearer?
Teenagers.
Can you say right one more time? How were these bodies buried or were they cremated? Can you answer that? Were they buried or cremated?
No struggle left.
Killed them. Were they cremated or buried? Please, it's a simple question. The Dominican?
So you said the bodies were to the right. Does that mean they're on the property?
Broken foot?
Can you just say yes or no? Are they buried on the property?
Property.
She is.
Identify them. Identified 4. But you think people should dig here, right? And search somewhere in this area, yes? How were they killed? How were the victims killed? Can you tell us that? Hurt so deeply?
Begged for hours. A special treat
for you. Were the girls strangled?
The back. Hung?
Let's cross back. Were these victims killed by Jeffrey Epstein or by someone who was visiting the ranch?
Himself. He did. What's the name of this property behind me?
Do you know the name of that ranch right there? Could you say it back to me? It's Zorro Ranch. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us? Did it say Epstein again? So, to end this, I guess, so there was at least one girl that died at Zorro Ranch whose body was disposed of in the area, yes?
Zorro. Hi, Woody.
I saw that.
Is there any last thing you want to tell us?
Wake up, you're dreaming. Act. This is your last chance to tell us anything about the ranch that we don't know.
Appeal.
Is there a name that we should know? That's my last question, I think. Let's say you are out here in this area. Is there a name that we should research? A missing girl or even a boy? Had a lot of really good answers. Listen to how quiet it is, though.
I don't like it.
I'm telling you, man, it feels like we've been in a whole different dimension
I know.
for the last 5-6 hours that we've been in this area.
It doesn't even feel like it's been that long.
It's f***ing... I mean, even looking behind us, like, look at this. It's just fields, endless fields of nothing. And stars, tons of stars. But, I mean, the New Mexico state authorities need to get their shit together and f***ing... They need to investigate these reports. Get some cadaver dogs, do a full scan of Epstein's properties and the surrounding properties, because you have credible tips. It just feels so eerie. And I want to stress too, we're not saying that the information we got from that session should be counted as a part of the case, should be credible. It's an experiment because that's what we've done for years, and that's how we feel like is one way we can help. So you have to take it with a grain of salt because it's an unproven science and experiment. But to me, there were some really relevant responses there. And I'm sure if we go back and look, like, it's just so goddamn eerie, man. Thinking about looking up at those lights. This is the final frontier of Epstein. They've searched the island. They've searched the houses. One mansion's gone. This place has never been searched.
And this place could be the key to taking down that whole operation.
There could be human cloning labs. There could be baby farms. There could be murder rooms, torture chambers. There could be bodies, mass graves of babies and children. There could be... I mean, there's even been allegations of human hunting parties out here at Zorro Ranch.
It's crazy.
But I got one more spot I want to hit on the way out. All right, before we leave, I wanted to get one more scan with the IR 4K goggles to see if we can see anything interesting happening at night. I'm rolling now. I'm not really seeing anything. I see the lights from the ranch. We see this way. Certainly smell that death.
Yep.
I see a light over there. Do you see that? Look way over there.
Yeah.
There's a light. I don't know where that is, but that's Epstein's property. There's something going on over there way over in the mountains. And then, of course, I see the city that he built. And then, yeah, way off in the distance, I guess the city. Well, there's his town's right there.
You can see very clear, but no other lights in the distance. It's all dark. Except for that one way over there. Let me try hit it. Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah, you can see it with the regular vision. It's over there. And then, yeah, there's the town. Alright. I think we've done enough for today. I'm a little spooked.
Yeah.
Let's get the fuck out of here, man. You still rolling? Well, guys, so dark. I gotta say, this was once in a lifetime today. I mean, we've studied these stories for such a long time that when you are here, I mean, it's just like, I can't even put it into words how weird it is, and how ominous it is, and how depressing it is, and how sad it is. But hopefully, we're gonna start a petition. Every single one of you guys online needs to sign that petition, please. And share that petition, whether it's with your children to sign, or your parents, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your aunt. Please, if there's ever been one thing that I've asked you to do on my channel, ever, it's please sign this petition so we can advocate for justice for those who may have been murdered right here on this ranch. Look, there it is right there. That's the town. Jesus Christ. The petition, I'm gonna put the link in the description, but what a day, man. What a fucking day this was. There's one more pull-off that I'm actually gonna stop at and take a look. It's a little road. See if we can see anything from the right side of the property. Epstein. Alright, this is a different angle of the property. This is all Epstein's land. So you can clearly see that's the village over there. With all the houses and stuff. But let's scan. This area is where I'm interested in. No, not really seeing much other than that creepy house right there. I don't know if that's the barn or what that is. You see it?
Yeah, we saw it earlier.
Yeah, it's some sort of shed. And then, yeah. That's about it, man. This place could talk. You want to look? Or are you good? It's kind of cool. It's crazy how those goggles can see. It's like so dark. Like that's his thing over there. Yeah, isn't it? I don't know if that's like the cremation barn or what. Alright. Good to go?
It's kind of weird how it provides a 3D effect, isn't it? That's my best trying to do like a cringe, you know, vibe.
That was pretty good.
Like one of those?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let's get the fuck out of here, man. Wow.